getting at with the book script? Spit that shit out, man!
Do you want to form an alliance with me?
Absolutely, I do. Excited.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
Oh my God, I did not think he was going to do that. That scared me. That actually scared me a little bit.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
And
friend,
welcome to a spooky episode of Two Brothers and Friends. I am here joined once again by Josh. Thank you, Josh, for joining the podcast.
Thank you for having me, as always.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. I don't know why I said thank you. We also have Eric on the podcast again. He has graced us with his presence for tonight's debate. We'll get into that in a second. How are you feeling, Eric, about this debate tonight?
Thank you for having me again. I'm very excited. Interested to hear your guys' points about these films, and ready to get this started.
Yeah.
So,
Edgar, obviously, you have been waiting for this for a long time now.
Since our last debate with Batman v Superman.
Which was when? How long
I want to
ago?
say December.
May. It was in May when we recorded it.
No,
It was in May.
I remember because it was cold as shit that day.
It was in May.
Do we not talk about this though? Like after the last Halloween?
No, this
podcast?
has been
A long time
something
coming.
in the making
Yeah.
since December. But the Batman v Superman episode we didn't record until I think because I remember when we recorded that it was like the anniversary when it came out. It was like 2 weeks after it came out.
Right.
That was the last time we did a debate on this podcast, and it was a lot of fun. Eric was a fan of it. You listened to the last debate we
I
had.
thought it was a great debate, and I was actually somebody that was a fan of Batman vs Superman, but I felt like both you and Edgar had compelling arguments that had me thinking, like, oh well, that was a little bit maybe disorganized and a little bit of a fucking shit show, but still love the film. But you guys made great points, so that's why I'm excited to be here now and talk about two historic films. And
Obviously, I didn't do any justice for Batman v Superman.
And for Zack Snyder.
And for Zack Snyder, So,
but tonight is going to be a good one. For those who are listening, we're going to drop this during October. Very fitting. We are going to be debating between Halloween, 1978's Halloween, and 1996's Scream.
Damn, 96.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Two very seminal films that are iconic in their own right. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
But let's go around and let's talk about this movie just briefly, both of these. Josh, what are you a fan of? I know you're a fan of both, right?
Oh man, I am obviously. I've told you guys many times. I love Halloween. It is such a classic. I am a huge fan of the original Scream as well. So this is going to be tough for me, but obviously I had to lean on the Scream side because I believe it's probably the first horror movie that I've ever seen. Scream. Yep, I remember. I just summer of getting out of 5th grade, going to my uncle's house in Montana, and my uncle was extremely obsessed with horror movies. And when we get there, the first thing he pops in is Scream.
Damn.
And I extremely fell in love with it, which is kind of weird for someone at that age to love so much. But
I feel like that's what happens to every horror fan. You find a movie that you watch that you just like, God damn, I love the horror genre now.
Yeah.
What about you? Well, I know you love Halloween. So that's...
Well, I don't get a backstory too.
No, go ahead.
Give it to us. Give it to us, man.
The floor is yours now.
All right, back in 19... Halloween wasn't my first scary movie. It was The Exorcist, so that's another fucking...
Wait, The Exorcist was your first?
Yeah, I want to say that's my first slasher.
Okay.
I don't know the reason why I gravitated to it. Maybe because I'm a big fan of the holiday Halloween. Yeah. And so when I saw the title, I was like, hey, it's about Halloween, right? But yeah, I remember being kind of scared
by Halloween.
Yeah,
I remember you'd always tell me when I was young, 6 or 7, you'd look out west and you'd be like, Michael Myers is coming. It's almost Halloween time, and I would buy it. I'd be terrified because you would tell me that he lives in the mountains. That's where he lives, and he comes down here every Halloween.
Can't believe you fell for that, dude. I was just fucking around.
And like when I was 6 or 7, that was my fucking. I used to play outside. I used to love being out there.
Okay.
And then you ruined it. But no, Halloween is also. I came to Scream a lot later. I didn't watch it till last year, and I think you could say it was the catalyst for this debate because I told Josh I saw Scream on YouTube where I seen it, and Josh was just very offended that I had seen it.
If you ever watch a movie on YouTube, you are setting yourself up for failure. Well, let's just say that. Come on.
But I did watch it a lot later on. Halloween though, that's my jam.
Like for me, it was like I don't want to say intertwined together, but I remember watching it young too. It was always on television, like Halloween
AMC,
and
yeah,
Scream. Yeah, so I kept watching it over
I
and
agree.
over, right? As for Scream, I appreciate it. I don't want to say I hate it. I just don't.
It's not your cup of
It's
tea.
not, there you go. It's
It's
my
not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Fair.
If you were to rank the two, like slasher horror movies,
Oh, Josh, come
where
on.
would you bring him? Where would you put it?
What?
Like Halloween, and then how low is Scream?
Oh, Scream is not that low.
Yeah.
It's like in your top 5, top 10?
No.
Top 15?
Say 20.
That's pretty low.
That is pretty damn
Oh,
low.
really?
That is pretty fucking low, man.
That's pretty damn low.
Yeah, I was like little hopes of like maybe he appreciates it to a degree, but
No.
that just went out the fucking window.
Yeah, it's bottom of the barrel. But I know someone who does love Scream. He came rocking his Scream t-shirt. Eric, is that what you prefer, Scream over Halloween?
I'm a big fan of Scream. I saw it when I was very young. I had a friend who had an older sister at the time who I think they had it on VHS, and so I remember watching it in his basement on VHS. Now, my experience with Halloween, I do think came kind of in the form of what you were talking about. When I saw it, I was young. It was during like the holidays, like October, on like it was on television or
Right,
something.
yeah.
So I remember watching it there. I'm a fan of both films. I love Scream. I find it to be a sensational horror movie, slasher particularly, that came. I mean, really, it came 20 years later almost. When
yeah.
Halloween has already like had its dominance. It's had the reputation of being the slasher, and I really feel like Scream took it up another level, in my opinion, with the story writing, the mystery, the thriller. Like, this is a little bit more realistic in terms of these high school kids, and you just don't see that kind of filming anymore. So
That's
anyway, that's just my quick overview. Was not my first horror movie. I would consider mine was Alien. That terrified me when I was like 8 years old. So I would consider that to be more of like a horror movie. But for slashers, definitely the first one I saw, and I've been a fan my whole life. So.
Well, we've already established who enjoys what. I mean, we can all appreciate both these films.
Absolutely.
But tonight we're going to set that aside, and we're going to debate between which is better, Halloween or Scream. And before we actually get into the rules here, we did make it a point between Josh and I that we are not going. This is like, because this is like the biggest fucking point that I could have, which is if it weren't for Halloween, Scream would not exist.
I agree.
We know this already.
I agree.
We're taking that off the table. That is like the nuke. You know, if you guys are aware of the Kendrick and Drake beef, that was the nuke. We're taking that off the table because we already know this. It's been established. So tonight we're gonna just talk about
Can I
each
drop
film.
that nuke anytime?
No, no. I know you want to really bad, but you're not going to. Tonight we're just gonna talk about each film standalone, Halloween and Scream. It was difficult to kind of be like, should we expand it to the franchise? But no, we're gonna leave it to both films, right, Josh? I mean, I think that's.
I think that's fair. Absolutely. When you look at horror movies in general, they get shittier and shittier over time. And then they kind of lose their
Unfortunate, but yeah.
they lose their value. They lose their credibility. But the OG, the first, is always the greatest, right?
Yeah.
So to Alberto's point, obviously, yeah, why not just argue Scream 1?
Halloween 1.
Yes,
The
sir.
OGs, the ones that are considered the masterpieces. We do have some rules, so bear with us. Edgar, go ahead. Read off the rules for tonight's debate.
You don't want to do the topics too, or just the rules?
Ooh, read the topics as well.
Yes. In any order. Rules or
All right.
topics first.
Tell me if these are correct, because this is Josh's.
He wrote it, so it's
Yeah.
his. He knows. Right.
The topics are plot, characters, lead character, Ghostface versus Michael Myers, intro, score, scare factor, kills, climax / ending. Okay.
Now, we're doing those in order, correct? I forgot to ask that question. Or should we do it out of order?
Oh.
Edgar, what do you think?
Let's have Eric pick this one, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let
Do you want to do it out of order, Eric, the topics, or you want to do them in order as it's written?
Or actually, we might as well just have the judges both agree to this.
I was gonna jump into the
sure,
intro
okay,
because
yeah.
fuck it, might as well give it.
I think the way it's written out is fine.
Okay.
I would maybe move the score to the end.
Oh.
Interesting
Like, who gives a
choice.
fuck about that in the debate? I mean, it matters, but it, like,
Wow. Okay.
well, it
let's
can't-
actually
hold
not
on a second.
talk about this.
It
make that the
can't
first
be,
one.
it can't be above kills and climax. Come on.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
That's
You
just my
got
opinion.
it's your guys' call at the end of the day.
I think we move the score to the end.
I need to butter you
Hey.
guys up as much as possible. Everything that
boxers
you
don't
say
make the
is,
rules, man.
you know,
This
yeah.
is-
You guys are the best people in the room, in my opinion.
All right, Edgar,
Okay.
but go ahead now. Tell us what the how this is going to be scored.
Oh shit. Okay. The rules: when a topic is being debated, both parties will have 15 minutes total to make their arguments. After each argument, each argument is presented by both Josh and Alberto, and Eric and Edgar will discuss and reward each argument of a score out of 0 to 3, alone for 5 minutes. Whomever has the lowest score will have a chance to rebuttal to increase their score by 1 point. There will be no rebuttals for a tie. Oh shit, okay. If Eric and Edgar cannot come to an argument, both Eric and Edgar will come up with a new topic that can be about anything from the movie franchises. If an individual gets off topic and it becomes an attack, that individual will receive a penalty of 1 minus point. And after the topics are finished, both parties will get a final say. All right, that's the rules.
Real quick,
Uh-oh.
Josh's grammar and spelling was terrible, so forgive Edgar.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, it was just like poorly. It was just so poorly
And also-
written.
I apologize.
That's why
I'm
I
not
actually. That's why I asked Edgar to read it.
I'm not a fucking writer, guys.
I know.
Come on.
That's why I said it ahead of time. This is Josh's.
These are very complicated rules. We apologize,
Yes.
but we're gonna get you through it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We're going to make this as seamless for the audience as possible. We're not going to make you sit through a lot of,
Thank God I
we're
didn't
work
get
our magic.
any points on my grammar. and
Minus
my-
1. There you go.
You should have seen me trying to read that before he got. I was like,
I didn't think it was that bad. I was like reading
I
this
thought it
shit.
was. I thought it was legible. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you know, hey, maybe these guys don't understand good
He's a
grammar.
writer.
Maybe
He's a
that's
writer.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like,
Josh,
yeah, you
2
know.
points.
they just All right.
I should have 3 points at that, man.
Well, let's without further ado. I know we both, all of us are chomping at the bit to get into this.
Come
So
on, jeez.
we're gonna do plot first. We're gonna flip a coin.
Oh, okay.
So, Josh, heads or tails?
Is this like football? Actually,
Yeah.
do I decide whether I go first or if I get it right? Do I decide whether
Yeah, you would go first.
or do I decide if I can go second?
Either or. I don't care.
So you want to
Either
kick or
one.
defer? That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
yeah.
you know what he's saying? Like football.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That what you just said.
Yeah.
If you go first.
Is this the only time we're gonna flip a coin? By the way,
Oh my god, he wasn't.
Receive or defer? Sorry.
We'll keep it the one time we flip the coin,
Yeah.
and that's how it is for every topic.
let's do
so,
it.
what are you choosing?
Heads.
It is tails.
Motherfucker.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Wow. Okay.
So
We're
it's,
doing-
the first topic is
Plot.
Plot.
The plot of each film. Halloween and Scream. So
how many minutes? 5?
up to 5 minutes
Starting
for
now?
each
Wait.
one.
I don't think Josh is ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go.
Eric.
Oh, my heart's pounding. No, I'm just kidding.
So let me kind of talk about my perspective of what the plot is to Scream. Okay, so random people are being murdered by an individual wearing a ghost-faced mask in Woodsboro, California. Okay, keep in mind this takes place a year after a murder of a woman. Okay, who is the mother of Sidney Prescott. Okay. And a group of high school students who have the love of horror movies and they bring nostalgia out of respect for the genre, create relatedness for the fans watching the movie. Okay? So you have to keep in mind, obviously, there's a damaged individual, okay, in this movie, right? Who is now experiencing random murders in her city, in her small town, that could be related to the murder of her mother. Okay? And then these unique individuals that stand out while they are in the mix of this, in the middle of this, they are actually explaining key elements to what we love the most in horror movies. And I'll keep it at that for now.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let me pull up my. Well,
Hold on. You ready?
yes, I am ready.
okay.
Go ahead. Halloween, I'll keep it brief, is the night he came home. It is a primal fear that a lot of people, I think, can relate to. Being stalked by a unkillable, unknowable force, the embodiment of evil. And that's really what this movie is about. It is about, and it's simple as this, is just a killer who goes to Haddonfield and leaves behind a wake of violence and destruction. Simple. And it's simple because John Carpenter had a shoestring budget of $600,000. It's an indie film still. Remember that, guys. It's as masterful as it is still just a fucking indie film that synthesized everything about slasher films up to this point and created, well, what we all know for slasher films going forward, And that's the other thing I wanted to bring up tonight. Halloween isn't just like this simple horror story. It is a masterclass in how to make a good horror film. So for any students of horror, any students of filmmaking wanting to know how to make a good horror film, it's right there. It's fucking Halloween. It has all the elements that you would expect from a horror film, from a slasher film. And it came out in 1978. Okay? Let me pull in my notes here about Scream. Because Scream, I watched this, Josh. Not that long ago.
We're actually talking about Scream. No, we're not. Are we arguing back and forth right now?
Oh, is this the argument? No.
I didn't need you to say anything. I'm just pointing
Go
it
ahead.
out, dude.
Go ahead. I'm ready. I
Look-
know I was brief, but I wanted to hear what you wanted
Yeah,
to
no,
say.
it's not. Look, Scream, on the other hand, though it's clever in its approach, revitalizing horror, it doesn't do anything new, mind you. A lot of people don't realize that because they're so caught up in how self-aware it is and how meta it is. It is still a fucking slasher film that lives in the shadow of previous slasher films, including that one right there, Halloween. Doesn't do anything new besides the intro, which I guess we'll get into later. But to me, it is outgrown itself at this point.
Okay, I'm gonna just throw out there. You're actually flirting between the line of throwing out there that Halloween set the bar for slasher movies judges. I'm actually gonna put that out there right now. First
What are we
off,
in a courtroom right now, Josh?
first
What's
off,
going on?
Second off, okay, do keep in mind as well. You talk about how Halloween is such a powerful evil entity. When really was Michael Myers that big? When he escaped prison, nobody even knew about it. Okay? It wasn't affected by the people. Okay? Keep that in mind.
You're talking about like what the first
Second,
10 to 15 minutes.
Hold up. I gave you a little bit more time to talk
go
as
ahead,
well
go ahead,
in
go
my
ahead.
brief summary.
All right.
Keep in mind also everything you're talking about in Scream that it's been done. That movie knows what it's doing. It acknowledges throughout the movie that yes, this is what it's doing. It is a rinse, a repeat of everything that came.
Rinse and repeat.
Right? It is.
Rinse
It identifies
and
it.
repeat.
That is the whole point of Scream. And if you didn't see that in the movie, you failed to actually understand
Josh.
the reason of why Scream was created. Also, I have to put into a good put out in a point as well is that you talk about Halloween did it. It was the first. It set the bar. There were great horror movies before that. Don't downplay Black Christmas. Don't downplay Psycho.
I'm not
Okay.
downplaying that at all. Are we arguing what's a more entertaining horror film, or are we arguing which one is a better scary movie? Because if we're talking about which one's scarier,
Well, obviously, you're here to talk about Halloween is a better scary movie.
Scream.
I'm here to talk about that Scream is a better horror movie.
It is
Absolutely.
not a better horror movie. As a matter of fact,
Are we
you
here to
and
talk about
I-
the plot?
Okay,
I think
hold
we're
on.
going off topic.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Hold on. Are you guys going to talk? Did you your arguments now?
Yeah,
Or
we're getting into the arguments now. We're
Okay,
getting
hold
into the
on.
weeds.
There's a lot of interruptions going on.
Okay.
I'll let Josh take this one for now. He has another 5 minutes to rebuttal what Albert just said.
What was our timer?
We're currently sitting at. I reset it for the back and forth debate at 15 minutes.
Okay.
We're at 12:57.
Oh, so
Oh, okay. We got plenty of time. We got.
So I'll let him. Then you'll go.
12 minutes for the plot. I thought we were doing 5 minutes for
let
the
him say whatever he has to say.
No, I already did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already did.
Okay, so okay, you
that
go
was
ahead.
my piece
Okay,
That was
you go.
okay.
as of right now.
Well, do you know what other movie came out before Scream that did the meta thing?
Tell me, educate me.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Okay.
The same director who did Scream.
Which
So
we're
if
not
you
here to
wanna-
talk about.
No, but if you want to talk about, there's Halloween, you said he did it best, but you're not going to pay respects to New Nightmare?
We're not here to talk about a new Nightmare.
Yeah, we're also not here to talk about Psycho. We're not here to talk about
All I'm just
Peeping
saying
Tom. We're not
is-
here to talk about Black Christmas.
All
I'm here to
saying,
talk
Alberto, is you said that we can't use that as leverage and say that it started the bar and set the bar high for slasher movies, right? Which you did. Okay,
I need you to listen.
Keep that in
closely,
mind,
Josh.
guys.
I need you to listen to me. Here.
Second, I'm just saying that when you argue and you say that it is a great when it set the bar for it, there were movies before it. It wasn't the only one.
And Scream wasn't the only one either, dude.
I'm just here to talk about the plot right now,
All right.
Alberto.
Yeah, so I need you to listen to what
All right.
I'm saying. What
Yeah, go ahead.
I need you
wanna
to
hear
listen to
your-
what I'm saying, Josh. I said that Halloween is a good film to also deconstruct in terms of its plot. It is deliberately slow paced. The long, unbroken camera shots. The Dean Cundy, who I know you might not know who he is, but he also did the movies Back to the Future, which you're a huge
Absolutely.
fan on.
That I am.
Jurassic Park as well.
That-
So the cinematography plays into the story. It's atmospheric in its tone. It's better in every way than Scream is. Like I said to any people who wants to make movies, that's it. If you want to know plot for a good horror movie, it's that one. Not Scream. If you want to hear all these 90s horrors, cultural references, go watch Scream. That's an entertaining film, but we're talking about a good horror film. And that is Halloween.
Okay. I feel like you guys are kind of steering off a little.
Okay.
I agree.
Talk more about the plot. You kind of went away and like reference other movies, but stick to the plot.
Gentlemen, I've already talked about the plot. I gave you a brief summary of what it is, right?
You don't want to add anything?
Well, keep in mind, I'll reiterate what I said, right? It's random murders, right, that are happening in a small town, okay? Keep in mind it takes place a year after, right? While a team of misfits, okay, in the middle of all this are paying nostalgia, the respect to horror movies. But I'm sitting here and I'm waiting on you to talk about and emphasize the benefit of the plot of Halloween.
Did you guys not listen to what I just said? I described. As a matter of fact, you kind of described Halloween there for a second about how a small town,
I'm talking to you about Scream.
All these killings happening. That sounds a lot like Halloween. So even Scream can't help but just take from Halloween than its story. It's a masterful fucking story.
What separates Halloween then from Scream?
I'm glad you asked that, Eric. Like I had said, the cinematography, perfect. The atmosphere is great. And this is why I don't want to get too much into it, because we're going to talk about the score. We're going to talk about the kills and everything that happens. But in a brief summary, it's about the night he came home, gentlemen. Michael Myers coming here to wreak havoc. And it's also unpredictable, these killings that just happen out of nowhere, and it's done so well. And again, like I said, it's an indie film.
Can you still talk about the plot a little bit? Because I still don't understand the plot, as if I've never seen the movie before.
Do you want me to wait to mention Laurie Strode or mention the other characters, which we'll get into in the debate? Who do you want to talk about, Josh? Because I'm just here to tell you what the story's about. What?
How about you? That same question that Eric told Albert. What did you tell Albert?
What separates Scream from Halloween?
There you go, Josh. What do you think?
What separates it is actually identifying that it's a love story to past horror movies. Okay? Yes. Do I think, to Alberto's point, Halloween is a great slasher movie. It set the bar high for slasher movies. Absolutely. But Scream came back in a time, right, where slasher movies were dead for the longest of time, right? So it came back knowing and saying, hey, how do we grab the attention of our audience? We're going to pay respect to the OGs, right? We're going to pay respect to our audience with Psycho, Black Christmas, When a Stranger Calls, Halloween.
Albert?
Paying respect is not separated from Halloween. What is its story? What really separates it from being?
I already told you the plot.
Halloween. Yeah, you did tell me the plot.
I gave you a definition.
And didn't I
of the
say
plot.
it sounds exactly like Halloween?
Well, then repeat what I just said about the plot about Halloween.
I just fucking didn't. Apparently, you're deaf. You can't hear what I'm saying, Josh. I said this before. Okay. Scream feels to me like the fucking. Do you guys ever play Duke Nukem?
Yeah.
Scream is the fucking Duke Nukem of horror films. It came out in the 90s. It revitalized first-person shooters because it was self-aware. It paid homage to the fucking games that came before it. It didn't separate itself, though. It's still the same fucking thing.
It wasn't supposed to. That was the whole idea of the movie. They talk about the nostalgia of the rules of you can't have sex, you can't do drugs, right? And then they break them, right?
Right.
For the fun of it.
All right.
For the fan service.
Fun. That's what you're saying. It's fun. It's not scary. It's just entertaining.
There are several movies out there, horror movies are out there that are funny, yet still scary. And the movies have...
We'll get into it. I'm not going to say anything.
And movies
but
have proved that.
Josh, like I was going to say, we made fun of Edgar for saying that Silence of the Lambs was in the horror movie. I'd go as far as to say that Scream is in the fucking horror movie. It's a horror satire. It's a parody of horror
Bullshit.
movies.
When you actually look at it on IMDb, it's labeled under horror.
Oh, and you
Thank
love checking Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb for the scores and all this shit. But I am telling you right now...
Penalty point. Penalty point.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Scream isn't a good horror movie. It is a good, I don't know, entertaining horror movie, but it is not nowhere
To each
near.
is their own, and that's why we're here to discuss about this.
All right.
Okay.
I think I've had all to say about plot because I don't want to veer off and
I'm
talk
still
about...
figuring out what you're trying to say anyways.
Okay. You guys came out of the fucking gate, okay? Jesus. All right.
The energy.
Right?
Jeez.
Fuck. Okay. I don't know where to go from here. Shit.
So we're gonna let you
What do you
guys
want me
defer.
to Yeah, ask it because I'm kind of like.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you defer to you guys. We're gonna take.
Oh, you guys are fucking off.
We're gonna fuck off. So, and we are back for the debate.
Yes. Eric has a
oh.
question for you, so you better be ready.
There's a question for me.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Berto, tell me why I need to watch Halloween over Scream. I want to know exactly why I need to watch this movie with the plot. And you got 3 minutes to convince me. Starting right.
Do I have to explain the plot again? Is that the whole point?
I want you to make it compelling. I don't want to hear about any other movies.
Okay.
You tell me. Hold on. This is why we couldn't decide. He wants to know why he came home. Well, that ain't that towards the main character, or you can do it without.
Because I don't want to. Okay, so I can do that, but then we're gonna be talking about why I feel Michael Myers is better than
okay.
Ghostface.
Okay, no. So just stick to the plot then.
We're gonna stick to the plot.
Yes. He said.
Can I talk about the opening though? Because that's also a part of the topic.
I think you should just answer the fucking question and stop
Yeah.
Okay.
beating
Hold on,
around
hold
the
on.
bush.
You set it up. We got to restart it, okay? Again, do you need him to repeat the question? You got it.
He wants me to explain why he came home.
Convince me. Just convince me.
Just convincing why Halloween is a better
That's it.
horror movie.
That's all I want. 3 minutes.
Why Halloween's a better movie in
Yes,
terms of
I
plot.
want to know.
Yes.
Don't mention any other movies. Tell me why it's better. You got 3 minutes starting right now.
Okay, Halloween is a better plot because it is much more well-paced than Screams, okay? Let's talk about the cinematography because it's not part of the topics here. The cinematography is amazing. For the budget that they had, Eric, it is just, you can tell that it was like it was made for like $1 million, but it wasn't. It uses these like tricks to make you feel, to immerse you into the world, okay? Without talking about the score also. The atmosphere in this movie is still, in my opinion, unparalleled. I watched it like a few days ago, the DVD commentary. I even told Josh, it still holds up. It is, if you want a dreadful, unsettling horror film, it's Halloween. Now let's talk about why. Okay, let me paint you a picture. Okay, Dr. Loomis is trying to plead his case for why Haddonfield is in big fucking trouble. And they don't even know it yet. Josh wants to say, oh, no one knows what's going on. You don't know when fucking fear is going to strike. You don't know when a killer is going to fucking strike. That is why it's much more relatable. That's why it taps into a much more primal fear than Scream does. Okay? It doesn't pull its fucking punches. It tells you what is going to happen. And Dr. Loomis is a huge arbiter of that. He's the one telling you he's coming home. Mm-hmm. He's purely and simply evil. I've tried for so long to get to rehabilitate him. And now I'm fighting to fucking kill this guy. Because you have no idea what he's capable of doing. And it's set, for me, in my opinion, it set the mythos of what Michael Myers is. And that's who we're talking about in terms of the plot. Who's center stage is Michael Myers. Without giving away what happens in the intro, you want to know, is he more than human? And they skirt around that a lot, and you have to watch it to see how it all unfolds.
Why couldn't you just start with that? Why couldn't you fucking
There
start
you go.
with that?
There you go.
Hey, that was beautiful. Thank you.
You actually touched my heart, actually, with
Really?
that. Well done, man.
I got lost. What was this question?
I was about to fucking pass out.
Fuck.
Do we want to do the same thing? From him to you.
Oh yeah, let's do the same thing without talking about the past horror movies like Black Christmas and all that.
Are you ready?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
What?
Notice how fucking similar it is to Halloween. Okay?
What?
You've already said that.
Just want you to
You
know.
already said that.
This man is
Hey,
chomping over here.
he's trying to.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna say.
So can't talk about past horror movies.
No.
So I can't talk about
Just
the
main plot
nostalgia.
like Albert. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Just the same thing
All
as
right.
Albert. Convincing.
All right. So keep in mind, you as an individual are living in a town in the middle of nowhere where houses are miles and miles away. Okay? Where anybody can be a murderer. Anybody can be a killer. Right? The second you answer the phone, you are scared. You are feeling uncomfortable, right? Because it is a setup of being attacked by a normal person, right? In a city where anybody and everyone can be a suspect. Okay? You want to call the police? You ain't got time to call the police, right? You're dead. You call the police, they're going to arrive in 20 minutes. You're done, right? And the thing is yeah, we can talk about supernatural entities, right? You can talk about a demon-possessed individual that's killing people, right? But the truth of the matter is we live in a world where the person in front of you has a dark side that can kill anybody, a random person. That's what Scream is all about, right? You don't know who this person is. You don't know what this person's motive is, right? Are they doing it out of joy? We don't know because it is a person that is no different than you and I.
Okay. Jesus Christ again, you fuckers.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
the reason why we started this kind of over is we felt like it got a little bit sidetracked.
Yes.
We had a hard time deciding, well, what movie would I watch?
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of went down the path of just talking about other films, and it got a little bit, it just got a little bit off the rails. But dude, it was exciting, and there were some. I had a lot of fun with it, but we just want to be convinced. We're the judges.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't feel like neither of you made a compelling enough argument for which movie am I going to watch if I've not seen this.
Yes, that we went with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well
with
done,
that,
gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well
with
done.
That
I'm
was
impressed.
a lot better.
Well
I'm
done.
impressed.
Thank you.
I think you pulled the best out of us. I think.
Yeah.
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 We're trying.
No, you did good.
So
Yeah.
you want to fuck
This
off
was this
again,
was
or,
a shot. No,
or
if you,
just straight up?
if you-
What do you,
if you
whatever
guys
you
know?
guys want to do. You
I
guys are
think
the
we
judges.
are. I think I'm feeling better now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
are you guys gonna tell us?
I thought it was after like a boxing match. You don't.
You don't want to tell us.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the next topic. Moving on.
Okay. Wow.
All
Are
right.
you going to tell us who's potentially in the lead or rebuttals or?
You don't think it gives it away because it's the first topic? Like who is ahead, or what do you think?
Hold on. And we have returned after a small little, tiny little break.
All right.
First topic is done. You guys,
We talked about it, and none of you guys get. No, just kidding.
Not
All right.
surprised.
The points for plot goes to Josh. And the reason why I think we talked about it before the last intermission, the little break, is did we say it here? And I don't think we did, but I'll say it again. We're going in here as if we never seen Halloween or Scream.
that's actually a good.
Okay?
I never thought of that.
So his telling his version of like why Scream has a better plot seems more intriguing.
At the moment, or overall.
Eric,
So
Or-
we're going 3
3 and
and
2.
2.
Yes.
And for Josh getting the 3, there is a draw of there is a mystery. This is happening, but there is a lot going on behind the scenes of why it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to admit, I had a hard time with this because I was telling Edgar, your passion and energy and the way you came when we first started this off the coin flip, and you're like, Josh, you go first. Dude, you came out of the gates swinging so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you had me like going. I just think we got a little bit. It was just more passion than I felt like
Yes.
it was actually trying to convince me, like, hey, this is why you need to see it. And it was just pure like heart. It was beautifully said. I think
Yes.
if you could award 3 points for that, we would. But we're trying to
passion
figure.
to
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, look, listen. I'm trying to figure out why would I watch the movies. It has nothing to do with like I've seen both, but there's mystery, intrigue. What's going on? You don't know who's
the
who.
killer? Yeah.
Who's the killer? And over here, we're just like, well, we know who the killer is. He's coming to town. He's dangerous. Well, we know that. And he looks like William Shatner. So here we go. Anyway, that's kind of where Edgar and I kind of decided to award the points.
Okay. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. This upcoming round, if you guys do stray off, points do get deducted.
Oh,
Deducted.
so the first one was a warning. Now
Yes.
we're fucking
Wow.
Because
Okay.
you got-
Stick to the movies.
Yes.
Stick to Scream. Stick to Halloween as much as you can,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
You to be fair, you know that is going to be slightly hard for
We
me.
know. I
Okay?
think we could
But
be objective, but it did get a little bit weird with like talking about.
I know.
500 films.
I
got a little
I felt
watered
a
down.
little
Not a big
attacked.
deal. It is what it is.
Felt
Right.
like there was a little stab here and there, but
So
It's okay.
Josh took
It's
that
all right.
round. Okay, guys.
All right.
Next topic is.
Oh, just to let you know, I would.
Oh, do you want to rebuttal?
I would rebuttal. I'd rather save it though, because I feel I want to play. I want to show them my cards yet.
Damn. Okay.
fair.
All right, guys. Next topic is characters. So I guess like, okay, you can explain that to me. Characters.
Well, I was having a little bit of trouble with this too, but Josh said the supporting characters that we're talking about.
Correct.
like.
Correct.
Everyone other than Lori and Ghostface.
Oh, like okay. Besides those two, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's more to it, right?
Oh,
So
motherfucker. Okay.
don't worry. We'll educate you, gentlemen.
So we're going into the round of we're talking about supporting cast.
Yes.
Okay.
Like they're friends and.
Yeah.
Is that including like Dr. Loomis?
Yes.
And Dewey and.
Yes.
Okay. I got it.
Yes.
got
Yes.
it,
Yes.
got it,
Yes.
got it. Who's gonna go first then?
Well, Josh, since we flipped the coin, do you want to go first, or I can go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
All right. Well,
Jesus.
Wait, hold on. I think he has to put the timer. No, 5 minutes.
15
Or-
minutes.
Oh, okay.
15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep,
my
let's
bad.
just
Yeah.
do 15 minutes.
All right,
Yep.
guys.
Okay, let me get the timer going, and you are set to go right now.
Go.
there's a theme here. What I was talking about this being a primal fear, and for that to work, you have to have characters that are grounded in this situation. And I feel like the characters in Halloween, although I will say they're not as memorable as the ones from Scream, they serve its purpose for this particular film. They're much more relatable. I'll get into Dr. Loomis in a second here. But I think that it's important. God damn, the fucking brightness is all low. Jesus. The characters here, they amplify the terror that is about to happen. So, Eric, I painted you the picture of what's going to happen. Now, Dr. Loomis is warning everyone about the shape. Michael Myers is coming to town. That's the setup here. You need a supporting cast that is going to make Michael Myers feel like a fucking threat. And that's what these supporting characters do. Scream, which I know he'll bring up, is archetypes of characters. They're constructs only meant to serve the purpose of the plot. That's it. Okay, you got your jock, you got your cheerleader, you got the fucking nerd, you got all these characters, all commenting on the slasher films from before. That's it. Whereas these characters, when the shit goes down, you know, because of these characters and how they manage to elevate the film. Simple. Go ahead, Josh.
I see what you did there, Alberto.
Thank you.
Very well said, by the way. When you go in watching Scream, the first thing you're going to probably assume is that you got too many characters thrown at you. It gets too convoluted. It looks like a mess. Okay? But that's the point. They do it well. And the reason why is because everybody plays a specific role. Right? Everybody comes together, right? because they're best friends. First off, let me tell you this. When you were in high school, did you not BS with your friends and talk about scary movies?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Think about that, right? That's what this movie does. It gives you perspectives from high school students, okay?
So does
Second-
Halloween.
Second,
For its time, so does Halloween. Sorry.
Second, you're not just seeing perspectives from the high school students, but you're seeing it from a reporter, right? Who's on the case of Cotton being on death row, right? She wants to actually do right for Cotton, but does she? No, she wants the fame. She wants the glory. So she's a borderline asshole. You have Dewey, the cop, the innocent cop that wants to do right, that wants to be a hero, right? Sydney Prescott, the damaged young girl, again, keep in mind, she is the one.
You're talking about the final girl.
Yeah.
Save that.
I will save it. Okay, I'll save
Just
her for
pointing it
later.
out.
Okay,
Okay.
you raise your hand. What are you going to say?
Josh is trying to paint a picture of a movie that is serious, but the characters he just mentioned are all fucking over-exaggerated. Like Gale, like Stu, like Loomis. All these fucking characters.
Can I finish my argument?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Is that fair?
Oh,
okay.
hold on. You go continue. Finish your story, then Josh.
No, that was all I was gonna say. Is that like he's right? It serves its purpose of being all over the place because Scream, except for the intro and the ending, is all over the place. Whereas Halloween's supporting characters, they amplify what is a simple but masterful horror film.
When you watch the two movies, who is more relatable? The characters in Scream or the characters in Halloween? I would
Did I
say
not
that
just-
it is more. I would argue and I would say it's actually more of the characters in Scream. Keep that in mind, guys. Okay? Right? You have the crazy friend. You have the friend that actually sticks up for you. Right? Tatum. Right? As the main character is going through, I don't want to get into too much of that. She always has her back.
Okay.
Right? You have Stu, who is the crazy friend. Right? And then you have Billy, who's the psycho boyfriend. They allude to that in the movie. Okay? And then, of course, let's talk about Casey, the girl in the beginning of the movie. And the reason why I want to actually bring her up is...
That's the intro.
Nope, not going to talk about the intro.
Okay.
But all I'm going to say that when they released this movie, they did it smart. Okay? Drew Barrymore, Casey, was posted everywhere in that movie. Commercials, the trailers, the posters. They were selling to you, to us, that she was actually the main character. I want you guys to think about that. Look at that shirt. Who is that? So every character stands out for a specific reason. And I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to ruin it with the other topics, but they play their parts right. We're not talking about a movie like Batman and Robin where they throw too much at you and everything is nonsense. Everybody plays a specific part, and the best thing about these characters, they are potentially a suspect.
Can I?
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll have to.
He's not saying anything that's any different from what I said. These are archetypes. These are characters that you've seen before in previous slasher films. They have no narrative arcs, really. And I love that you brought up Drew Barrymore because it is true. It is smart in its marketing and how she was the first. Oh, she's going to be the final girl. All bets are off. But once you keep watching the movie, like I said in the beginning, it's just like every other slasher movie.
But nobody
You
left
can-
the film disappointed.
Josh.
You can pick out who the fucking suspect is. I'm not going to say who it is because you guys haven't seen the movie because you're coming at it like you're never seen it. But it's very easy after the intro how predictable everything is. He wants to say how all bets are off, anything can happen. When you watch the movie, you know who it is. There's no fucking like, oh, who is it? There's no mystique after the intro. After Drew Barrymore's character.
Okay. All right. Just the same as Eric handled the first topic. You guys are... you still haven't convinced me. they're both in high school. These characters.
Mhm.
They do want to do. They want to do good. Some want to do good, right? Like Dr. Loomis and Gail. What,
I'm
glad
glad you brought that up, Edgar, because
Okay.
just like I mentioned before, Dr. fucking Loomis, one of the best fucking side characters in Halloween, played
I
by the
feel like-
amazing Donald Pleasence.
Sorry, I feel like he's like. What would you say? He's a supporting.
He's definitely a supporting character.
character
Because there's no other characters in Scream that elevate who these killers are,
Mhm.
right? Because what is a big part of these horror films is the killers, and we'll get into that in a second. But Dr. Loomis does such a great job at making sure that you know that the stakes are high. He's like set everyone aside, fucking Lindsay, fucking Bob, fucking Annie, all these characters that are supporting characters, but it's Loomis really that elevates everything. But like I said, supporting characters do too. But Dr. Loomis is what makes that threat real.
Okay, you keep saying that. What is it that, let's say, elevates it?
Dr. Loomis's description of Michael when he's talking to Sheriff Brackett, when he's telling him, like I told you before, I've seen this fucking boy. I've tried to fix him, and now I'm afraid he's beyond saving.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing that, toppled with the score, everything is just like, goddamn. And we're not even talking about Laurie yet. We're not talking about Michael yet. You're hearing about Michael though. You know how much of a threat he is. What other fucking supporting characters do that in Scream?
So here's the thing. You go into this movie, and the first thing you do notice, to Alberto's point, is, yeah, you can probably figure out who the killer is. They do that on purpose. They throw it at you to make you think that this person is a killer so right off the bat that it's so obvious that you're like, no, it can't be that person. Okay? Think about this, right? Stu, for example, after the first death, he starts actually talking to his friends, to the rest of the group, on how to gut somebody. Why would you do that? Right? And then he's actually asked by one of his friends, well, did you do it? Because you're a suspect. And he's like, I've never killed anybody.
But
Okay.
it doesn't.
Second. Billy Loomis, after the first attack on Sidney Prescott, she runs into her room. Billy comes up the window. He gives her a hug. He's like, what's wrong? And he has this deranged look on his face.
He's giving it away without telling you fucking guys.
They're doing it
Come
on
on.
purpose. Think about it. They're doing it on purpose.
That's what speaks to the point I said earlier.
And what
They think they're smart with the marketing and Drew Barrymore. They're not as smart as they fucking think.
How many times has a fan of Scream rewatched the movies to try to figure out the points of, okay, that makes sense. That's why they're the killer. Who killed who?
And what
right?
about rewatching Halloween over and over again and hearing what Loomis has to say about Michael, and then seeing Michael's actions and being like, that makes a lot of sense when Dr. Loomis said that. Oh, that's why he does what he does. Oh, that's why that makes a lot of sense. He is detached. He is cold. Loomis does it better than all those fucking side characters. All you really need, if you took out all the other characters and it was just Dr. Loomis and Sheriff Brackett and Laurie Strode and the kids, you had a good fucking movie. But because it has good supporting cast, it amplifies it, like I said.
Josh, I think we still have time. Do you want to debate still, or
I
you
think
guys are good?
I think I've said my piece. In all honesty, I do believe that, when you go into a movie, they do things that are purposeful, right? Keeps you engaged. It keeps you wanting more, right? Guess what? When you figure out who the killers are, what their motives are in Scream, you start to actually rewatch it again several times to see, who did it. Why did they do that? That's the whole idea of the movie. You think they did it because of lazy writing? They did it
Never
out of
mentioned
fan
lazy
service
writing.
to reach out.
Never
Lazy
mentioned
movie,
lazy writing.
whatever, right? I'm just saying.
It is smart. It is meta. It is self-aware. But that's what I'm saying. It can't remove itself from that and be a good slasher film. It has to rely on the fucking tropes. It's purposeful for a reason, yes, because
And
it's
yet
no
it
different than Halloween.
revitalized, and yet it revitalized slasher horror. Because
Can I speak to that point, though?
Can
Can I speak to that point?
All right.
The meta slasher genre. Besides Cabin in the Woods, please tell me another movie that's like Scream that's meta.
Like as of right now?
Throughout history.
Throughout history?
After Scream came out, what's another one besides Cabin in the Woods? Because I feel like that's a gimme. What's another one that's a meta
Happy
slasher?
Death Day.
Name me another one. Because I can name you more slasher films.
But we're not here to talk about more slasher movies. We're here to talk about Scream and Halloween.
Fair. But you did say that it revitalized the meta slasher genre.
If you
or whatever.
look, we're going off topic. I'm not
Yeah,
going to play that game, okay? But you got to keep in mind this movie knew what it was doing. Yes, it's quirky at times. Yes, it's silly at times. But it also brings the intensity. It brings in the horror, and it keeps you guessing throughout the entire movie. Yes, Halloween makes you feel uncomfortable. Yes, Halloween gives you a little bit of tension, but the wait and the wait and the wait. Scream keeps your mind
That's purposeful.
guessing.
That's fucking purposeful. Scream loses its rewatchability after you watch it 3 or 4 times when you know what's up.
People rewatch it to
Okay.
figure out who did
They're
what.
not that fucking
which one
stupid,
did
Josh.
it,
They're
why
rewatching
they
it to
did
see who the
and
killers
so
are. They
forth.
know who the killers are. But we're talking about if you guys never seen it before. So I don't want to reveal too much.
Okay. We're good. 1 minute.
I'm good.
You guys are good.
We're good.
Okay.
And with that, a quick pause. We have returned. Edgar, take the floor.
All right.
My brother, go ahead.
After that little break, the reason why we're gonna do these, this point, you guys, it's a tie. You get 1 point each one. And the reason why I felt like you guys didn't add to it, you were just saying the same shit. They're high schoolers, each side. There's a doctor who wants to do good. There's a reporter that wants to do good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. Now, and it's kind of tough because you can't stray away and talk about the other characters or the killer, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so
So
it
it's
makes it
kind of
difficult. I
hard
agree.
to pick who won this argument because you guys were just saying the same thing, right? That was what we brought up.
Okay, that's your mindset.
Yes. So it's I award you one point and 1 point as a tie. So it's 4 and 3.
Right, and to Edgar's point, we didn't want to dive into the next segment
Mhm.
either. So, compelling arguments. Let's move on to the next topic.
Yes.
Fair.
What is that next
I
topic?
got it.
It's the final girl.
Wait. See, I got Josh's fucking.
What does it say on you? Because I'll
The
go
next
to
one
whatever.
says lead. Wait,
Yeah, lead character.
Yeah, I wrote it on my notes as the final girl. 'cause
Okay.
That's just how I have it.
So lead character.
15 minutes? What's
Yeah.
the timer on this, boys?
Okay, hold on. Lead character, is that just Laurie Strode and
Yes.
Sidney Prescott.
okay, so you guys can't fucking go okay, but all right.
You know what? Can I just point something else? I feel like the reason why we go off topic is because it is 15 minutes, and so we end up veering off course once we're done with our main point.
Yeah, so guys, I guess our biggest ask is to just cut us off.
Yeah. Once we've reached our point, and you're like, okay, they said enough.
Yeah.
No more 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
if
'cause
it's 8 minutes, then cut it.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Are we Yes,
who
we
cares?
are.
Who cares? The audience are fucking. They're locked in. I'm hoping.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like if it's 15 minutes and we have 15 minutes to keep going, we're gonna end up talking about other shit.
All right. Okay.
So up to 15 minutes, but once you hear that we're like, all right, they've said their piece.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Being strict now. Okay, guys.
I don't like this seriousness right here.
All right. So lead character / final girls. Who went last time? It
I didn't.
So you want
Right.
to go again, or you want to give it to Josh?
Yeah, Alberto went first.
Do you want to go first, Josh?
I'll go.
Okay. So Josh.
So let's talk about Sidney Prescott. Okay. So keep in mind, and I know I keep reiterating this, but she is damaged. Okay. Her mother was killed. Okay. She, in a lot of ways, is already a victim. Okay. She is supposedly helpless. Okay? What makes Sidney Prescott so great, so unique as a lead character is when she comes off as a victim, as damaged, as Ghostface stalks her, calls her, brings up her mother's death consistently, often, okay? And then when she gets stalked by Ghostface early, she actually stands up for herself. She is able to get away. There are so many horror movies out there where the victim or side characters, they get lucky, right? The first attack, okay? She is able to actually lock her bedroom door with her closet. She shows this multiple times in the movie, right? The movie hints at that. She's able to actually, when she goes onto her phone and the phone line is cut, she jumps on the computer and she uses a deaf line to call 911 on her computer to get the cops there. She's smart. She knows what she is doing, okay? There is also a point in the movie where she herself starts stalking, okay? Ghostface, the killers. She calls them on their cell phone and she starts playing games with them. Okay? And I don't want to give too much on the climax, but she also gives the final shot. And I want to leave it at that. I'll talk about it a little bit more, but we're talking about a victim, right? Who is able to stand up for herself constantly. Gail Weathers approaches her, right? She knows what Gail Weathers is doing. Gail Weathers is trying to do good, but she wants this for publicity and for money because that's how she got known, for being a great reporter. And when she's called out about Cotton's death, for Cotton supposedly killing her mother, she punches her in the face. She gives her a fucking black eye. And then when she's called out by Gail, like, you don't even know if Cotton is the killer anymore, do you? She admits it halfway through the movie because of all the bullshit that is going through in her life.
Look, Sidney Prescott is definitely a strong lead character. But I've seen this movie, and I know that if you're going into this and you haven't seen the film, what you'll notice is that her narrative arc takes a backseat to the constant meta commentary of slasher films. For every moment you get with Sidney Prescott about her tragic backstory about her mom dying, you get fucking I forget what Jamie Kennedy's fucking character is. He's fucking talking about more slasher film stuff. Stu, the same thing, and Loomis, and it's like you always see just little bits of this is interesting. Sidney Prescott's an interesting character, but then it shifts back to the rules, to the meta commentary, to the fucking slasher stuff. It takes a backseat. Laurie is the final girl. She's who inspired the rules to survive a horror film. If we can't talk about Halloween inspired all these other slasher films like Scream, Laurie Strode is what inspired your Sidney Prescotts, your fucking Nancys, your Alan Ripleys. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have those characters. It's because Carpenter was masterful at creating a strong female protagonist who isn't fucking stupid, who's smart. She investigates. She knows something's up. She's being stalked by Michael Myers. And she still fights back. And for as serious as Josh is trying to create Sidney Prescott as a character, you actually feel that Laurie Strode is a survivor of Michael Myers. Whereas Sidney Prescott is like, not in my movie, shoots fucking Loomis in the head. I thought this girl's going through fucking trauma and she's throwing out one-liners? Laurie Strode is in tears, bawling like, was that the boogeyman? Yes, it was. And you managed to fucking survive it.
So when I go back and I talk
about... how are you feeling about this, Eric? You want him to keep talking, or what? Because you guys said,
I said my piece.
I think we've heard enough.
oh,
I got one more thing to
Yeah,
say.
go ahead. No,
I
go
got one
ahead.
more to say.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. When you say that Lori is the definition of Ripley, I disagree. She was weak. She was lucky. That is my definition of her, right? Who ended up actually saving her at the end? She didn't battle. She didn't battle Michael Myers. She ran from him. She got lucky, and she got saved by Dr. Loomis. Okay?
I am not talking about how she
Prescott is the definition of all those people you just talked about.
That's what I said.
A very strong
Is that not what I said?
woman.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Laurie Strode inspired the other characters to. It's like that old saying: "She walks so the others can fucking run." You got to respect that shit.
But you
That's
also,
what I'm saying. That's why, like, when I say the Halloween taps into a primal fear, and this is the overarching fucking thing that I'm talking about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween is a much more realistic, grounded film than Scream, and Laurie Strode plays into that. She is a strong character because she survived Michael Myers. Sydney is like, oh yeah, she lost her mom, this and that, blah blah blah, and like I said, she's fucking chasing after Ghostface and shit like that. Like I said, it shifts between these fucking, like, it wants to be a slasher satire, but then it also wants you to take it seriously. You don't know which one to choose. Laurie with her arc, straight fucking forward.
you have to keep in mind too is when you're up against a serial killer, the chances of somebody standing up to that individual can happen. For all we know,
Did Laurie
Michael
not stand
Myers,
up to Michael?
Michael Myers.
Did we watch a similar film?
We did. She did at times, right? But we're talking about, you know, if we're talking about woke moment and a woman that stands up, right, and rises, that is Sidney Prescott.
And who inspired that character?
Wasn't Laurie.
Yes,
can
it
tell you
fucking
that.
was.
She didn't put on a Michael Myers face.
It's playing in
and
the
she
background in
didn't-
Scream.
And she didn't attack him. Sydney broke all the rules. Final thing, Sydney broke all the rules and proved that when you break the rules, you can actually survive at the end of a horror movie.
So then why establish the rules if they can be broken? Why establish them? And again, Laurie
Rules are meant to be
Sydney
broken,
Prescott.
Alberto.
Sydney Prescott's being written as a final girl, but you know Laurie Strode is a final girl. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, well, that was compelling. Do you want to judge this round? Are you
Do
ready?
you guys want to defer? Or you want to judge it right now? Have your minds been made up?
Ooh. What do you think, Edgar?
Or should we take? I feel like you guys should be taking.
No, this time you guys did King Strong. This one you guys did stick to the fucking point.
Okay.
Okay.
Did we ruin the climax in his point? I heard.
Oh, no, I still got
heard
plenty.
one point made that, unless I'm off track here, you tell me. I felt like we maybe did a spoiler too soon.
Yeah, he did too.
I
You
did
did too.
Both
Yeah,
did,
I
okay.
feel like we kind of had to, you know, and that's what leveraged both of us to kind of make our points even stronger. So
Should you guys want time? We can pause
2
it right
minutes.
now. 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right, Eric, go ahead.
All right. I can't. When you guys were talking about the final girls, again, we're coming in as we never watched these films. So you're trying to convince me now with the lead character, right? You guys had great arguments again, but for me, it went for you because what you said about her story being sidelined.
Of Sydney's?
Yes. So that means if I'm coming in and if I want to learn about these final girls, you don't get the whole story then of Sydney in this first movie, right? And that's where you said Laurie, you know, from the get-go, you get her, you're right, beginning to end. She's a survivor, as she also is. She kind of, I don't know how I can explain it here. she has the balls to do, like, are you going through something, like you said, like,
Yeah.
right? But okay, that argument can go either way too, right? She can have that courage to kill him, but at the same time, you can not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think with this round, in regards to just the final girl
Mm-hmm.
in the argument, it feels like Jamie Lee Curtis is stronger in that argument. 1 point.
You get one.
So that puts you guys both at 4. You're
get
tied.
Nada.
That's it.
Josh gets 0.
Wow.
Just one. No, we're tying this up. We're gonna tie it up
So it's a tie.
because we wanna hear this next home
This
stretch.
is the meaty one.
So this is the home stretch, guys.
I want a chance to rebuttal.
Oh.
Actually,
Absolutely.
Floor is yours, Josh. Go ahead.
you know, I disagree 100% that Sidney Prescott was sidelined. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, what did you say?
I disagree that Sidney Prescott was sidelined.
Okay. Why?
Okay, and the reason why is because after the intro, right? And I want to talk about that. We are introduced to her right off the bat. Okay? They explain her history, where she's coming from, what happened to her mother. Okay? And we're talking about probably, I would say, in the beginning of the movie, 20 minutes into the movie, right? They introduce herself.
I kind of, you don't think it's leading to one of the topics? What because he's kind of talking about the intro.
No. I'm talking about after the intro.
He said after.
Yeah. So right after the intro, we are automatically, right off the bat, introduced to Sidney Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And they talk about her history, what had happened to her mother, right? Okay? And then on top of it, she has to hear about a killing, a mass murderer of something that happened almost a year after her mother's death and anniversary, right? And probably 20 minutes into the movie, when she is established, okay? Now, keep in mind, too, one thing that I love about Sidney Prescott is that everybody is so engaged and indulged by this murder that happened in the beginning of the movie, okay? She wants no part of it, and because she is constantly reminded by her mother, okay? Who is the second person to get attacked right off the bat, too? 20 minutes into the movie, I would say.
Well, they haven't even seen the movie, so.
Sidney Prescott is attacked by Ghostface. She gets a phone call. And then she is reminded about your mother, who's a slut and who was killed a year ago, right? They're playing mind games with her. They're beating her down, and she is constantly reminded by the death of her mother, but she is able to overcome that and stand up to her fears. That's the whole point of horror movies, is we are to stand up to our fears. And that's what Sidney Prescott does. This is a rebuttal. I said my piece.
Can I make a
It's not an argument.
rebuttal or no? I just want to know.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything, so. Or
But Eric, could I make a counter, or what are you gonna say?
I am intrigued to hear about Ghostface and Michael Myers. That's what I'm intrigued to hear. Now, if you want to make a quick rebuttal, the floor is yours. But I'm ready to hear.
You
about
don't. The point is the rebuttal. The rules. If I remind you, the rebuttal can reward me up to 1 point, not
well,
you.
has his point been awarded?
So
Or can I make my counter before?
because
you can't.
Make your
It's
counter.
meaningless.
Yeah.
It's
Make your
meaningless.
counter. Make your
I
counter.
just feel like, and this is, you don't have to take this as like, oh, okay, but like just personally, he's over exaggerating this shit. Because again, it keeps shifting to the fucking like every time we get a scene
I
with
feel like
Sydney,
I'm getting attacked, guys.
which is just one scene with Sydney, and then that's it with her backstory.
I think we keep the score as is, and we move to the next round. Next round.
Okay, all right.
Get that smile off your face, man.
oh, like you're waiting.
You got your fucking feet kicked up over there. Now you're like, wipe that smile off your face.
There was a bed over there, and I was comfortable.
Oh, you know what? I feel like this next topic is. I want to kind of save it towards the end. You guys keep coming back to this topic, So let's switch it up. I feel if it's okay with Eric.
I'm okay with that. Absolutely.
Let's switch it instead of Ghostface versus Michael. Let's do intro.
Intro.
I like that.
You guys keep coming back to the intro.
Let's get it out of the way.
let's
is
get
what
it
you're
out of
saying?
the
Let's get it out of the way.
Let's
Good
get
call,
it.
Eric, good
Let's
call.
get it.
So, who wants to go?
Go ahead, Alberto.
Oh, me?
Oh, no,
All right.
You got the timer? Oh,
For 15 minutes, correct? Up to 15?
yeah, I guess so.
Let's go 12.
12.
12 minutes.
Let's go. Yeah.
Objections?
No objections.
Let's go.
Go.
Let's go.
Let me talk about Halloween. I don't give a fuck about Scream right now. Okay. I'm going to have to read off my notes on this one just because I really need to drive the point here. Halloween's intro, though not as thrilling or as entertaining as Scream's, has a lasting narrative significance to the film, establishing the mythos of the shape. From that moment forward, after he kills his sister, you realize that this is not a human being anymore. This isn't a child that we're dealing with. I mean, it is shocking that it is a child, but it's no longer a child. This is the slasher that will return home. That's what that opening sequence is. And it is elevated by the cinematography. I keep coming back to Dean Cundey. But I also want you to, I want to like kind of take you on for a ride here. When they made this movie, and I was watching it with the commentary, just seeing how much magic is on the screen when you're not seeing it is fucking amazing. Deborah Hill, she's Michael in that POV when she picks up the knife. And while she's doing that, you got all these other shit happening. The gaffers, the cinematographers, all these setting everything up, and you don't see it. It's brilliant in that way. And it's still shocking also to this day. And it sets the fucking tone. It sets the tone, dude. Like I was saying, that Halloween is deliberately slow paced, so is the fucking intro. As the audience, you don't know. What am I seeing here? Who are these people? What's going to happen? Just like you're about to see it for the rest of the movie. No one is going to be safe. For the movie, for when it came out, for the time, you didn't know what the fuck to expect. So, to me, that's what I feel is so compelling about Halloween's intro. Still to this day, I don't think it's been used like that before. That POV shot of seeing the killer, taking you into the killer's perspective. Motherfuck the victim. Like, you're seeing the killer's perspective. That right there is fresh. That shit's original. You don't see that a lot in horror movies still to this day. Go ahead, Josh.
So let me kind of give you a brief summary of Halloween for you gentlemen who have not seen it before.
Halloween or Scream?
Halloween, actually.
Okay.
You know, so obviously it's great that you see the perspective from the killer. Okay, I love how Alberto talks about it's cinematography is so great, blah 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 blah. Right. So you can see a person grab the knife who is a grown ass individual, right? Murder people. Okay. Keep in mind, you see their arms. There is one point where the individual is looking at their arm as they're killing.
Can I
How do you murder somebody? That's just so unrealistic. Yes, you can say, yeah, he's enjoying his work. He's enjoying what he's doing, right? But you know that it's a grown person. You know, it's just it's just so silly to me, right? Now,
Josh?
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're not. What do you think? Is he straying too far, or talking, or what do you think? Because I feel like that doesn't.
I want to hear about Scream.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
That's what I want to hear.
I'm getting
hear
there,
about it.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So
Sorry, go
yes, that's my little picture I wanted to paint from you guys for Halloween, right? They did it good. I did appreciate it for this time, but Scream takes it to the next level. Okay? We talked about Casey, Drew Barrymore's character. She was promoted as the lead character. Right off the bat, as she's home alone, as she's in her house, glass windows for everybody outside to see her walk around in the dark, right? This house is projected bright. As she's making popcorn, she gets a simple phone number that's the wrong number. She hangs up a couple times. The third time she picks up, it's a flirtatious conversation. And then he simply wants to play a game with her. She's asking, what's your favorite scary movie? What are you watching right now? They talk about horror movies, the nostalgia of it, right? They all love horror movies, okay? That's what you do when you're home alone. And then he admits to her, I'm outside. I want to know who I'm watching right now. Red flag. She's uncomfortable. She's freaking out. She locks all the doors. She hangs up. He tells her, don't fucking hang up on me, you bitch. And then she says, my boyfriend's on his way. He's going to kick your ass. And guess who's in the backyard tied up? Her boyfriend. She now has to play a game, life or death situation. She gets the first question correct. Without hesitation, when she gets the second question wrong, they gut her fucking boyfriend in front of her. And then they simply ask her, which door am I at? She has 2 doors she has to go to. She goes to the first door. Ghostface is there. He's chasing her. She's running outside. Keep in mind, she doesn't have time to call the police. If she calls the police, it's going to take them a good 20 to 30 minutes to get there, gentlemen. But who does she see coming down the hill? Her parents. She's running to her parents. Ghostface catches her, chokes her. She can't scream. He stabs her a few times. Her parents walk into the house. They notice that windows are broken. Furniture is all over the floor. The mother picks up the phone because she's going to call the police. Who does she hear on the other line but her daughter, struggling to breathe? Her husband tells her to go to the neighbor's house.
Oh man, this is taking fucking forever.
They go outside. They go outside.
You got a minute, Josh. He's right.
And they find out that her daughter is gutted and hung on a fucking tree. Put yourself in that perspective as a parent, right? As you were stalked, right? From an individual's perspective and from a parent listening to her child get brutally murdered and to find her hung on a tree and gutted.
Again, I will refer back to what I said before. The intro is trying to tell you that all bets are off. But again,
Which one?
Screams. But what proceeds after that is something that's just so, like, it's just this fucking slasher film. You know who's going to survive. You know who's going to die. It becomes pretty obvious.
I didn't know
like
that. I thought she was the main
midpoint
character.
Yeah,
First
no,
coming to that movie, I thought she was the main character.
If she isn't a main character as you say you are, like you say she is, why did she pick up the phone in the first place? She had a full-on minute talking to this fucking guy, and she was like being nice to this person. You want to talk relatability? If you were actually in the situation, you'd be like hearing a fucking scary voice, click, locking all the doors. That's it. She continues to fucking play into this game because it's purposefully written that way. It sets up what is going to be, what Scream wants to be. It just keeps, again, talking about the meta commentary and stuff like that. Like, again, I keep fucking saying that word. Let me go back to Halloween, though, because Josh touched on something with the him stabbing it. Mm-hmm. Could it be that he's enjoying his work? Or could it be that another force has possessed him to do it? And he doesn't want to see who he's killing? Or is he looking at the knife and he's like, am I actually fucking doing this? Who knows? Could be enjoying his work, or he could be someone who's possessed. You even see it when they take off his mask. There's nothing there. He's just a kid who's fucking shocked. Now, which one would you put yourself in? Parents who are seeing their fucking daughter killed, or seeing your son who killed their fucking daughter? Which one is more traumatic? Because I would say that the first one is. Scream is all about, I want to play a game. What is this, fucking Saw? What is this? What's going on here? You know? It's entertaining is what it is, but it's not scary. The intro is fucking scary. The intro is more impactful. It sets the fucking tone. Yes, Scream does set the tone. But what tone is it? You don't know. It keeps going back and forth. even in its intro, as smart as it is, it still does not live up to the rest of the fucking movie. But Halloween puts a fucking stamp on it. That's the fucking intro. That's it.
Excellent. Those are both compelling arguments. What do you think, Edgar?
Break.
Break. Yeah, I think we need about 2 minutes.
We're back, Edgar.
All right. Again, great fucking points to one another. Where you get nothing. No, just kidding.
Don't do that, dude. Shit.
I thought after that 0 he gave me, woo, man.
Look, and Eric was right. He's sticking to his guns, Howard. What he's true. Like, this shit is fucking. He's selling it to you.
Mm.
He's selling me a fucking 6-piece fucking meal over here. Okay, and as for you, you're like, yeah, I got better ingredients, but his is cheaper.
His is Papa John's?
Yeah. So
Little Caesars Domino's.
it's oh, fuck, I need to give you.
So far, we're tied, right?
Well, right now, yes. Hold on. If you want to.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and award the points. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to give Josh 3. We're going to give Alberto 2. Here's why. This is a debate.
Mm-hmm.
To Edgar's point, he's sticking to his guns about the intro. You made a comment that said it's more memorable over here, which if I've never seen it, I'm already like, oh, it is. Well, I want to hear what he has to say about his story.
Okay.
Now, there was a lot going on in his story that made me, as somebody who's going to try to pick a movie here, think, well, Jesus, like I kind of know what I'm going to get over here. Oh, and then over here, there's all this mystery of like a phone call, and we could debate if it's real or not. It's a movie at the end of the day. They're both just movies at the end of the day, but you gave a little bit of flowers to that side before he even started speaking, which made me think, oh, Jesus, I need to hear what he has to say. And it already had my mind shifting from a debate perspective.
Okay.
That's where I felt. 3, 2 points. Edgar?
Same. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add to that before we move to the next?
Can I also rebuttal?
If you want, but
Absolutely.
let me just say why I gave those points. Again, if I haven't seen these 2 fucking films,
Mhm.
and you fucking just, like he said, you gave him the flowers, dude. Like, it's memorable. All right. You gave me something. You didn't get you didn't sold it. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Can I
If
do
you
a
want to
rebuttal?
rebuttal, go ahead.
If I remember correctly, I did say that Halloween's was more impactful. So I should clarify. When I say it's impactful, it is definitely going to stick in your mind more than Screams. I just want to put that out there first off.
Okay.
Yes, it is memorable. But when I say that Minds has a much more narrative lasting impact, I'm saying this shit's going to keep your attention all the way to the end. And I can't say my argument as to why just yet. But just how the movie asks you to, like, hey, come on, we're going to go for a fucking ride. The impact won't really hit until we get to that last part. But I will say, when I say that it's much more impactful, I do mean that it's much more memorable. So I just want to put that out there. I know. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair. Oh, I'm gonna get cramp in my
Okay,
back.
so I think Josh has 7, Alberto has 6.
Is that what? Okay. Cool.
What's the next topic?
Now it's the big one. Okay. Michael versus Ghostface. Before you guys start, what does that mean? In a way, when if they face off, or who's a better? Who faces off? Who's a better killer?
Who's the better killers? I think will be.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
just okay. Just wanted to know.
Okay.
All right. Timer. All right. I guess Josh went last time, right? The intro?
You did, right?
I did.
Okay.
No, actually, you
I
did.
think Alberto went with the intro first.
No, he was talking about how he was painting a picture for Halloween first. He said.
Yeah, you went first on the intro.
No, you went first on the intro. Remember, you were like, "Let me talk about Halloween for a second." You said that. Remember?
Oh.
Right.
No, you went
No,
first.
because you remember you talked about it being more memorable, and I immediately
Yeah.
shifted my brain.
And then I
did
kind
I
of like
did?
repainted a picture
He did it
afterwards.
in the, he opened up his intro by talking about your intro.
Okay.
Hey, hold on. Are we recording?
No, we're recording.
Okay,
We're
okay.
good. We're good. So,
So-
that means he goes first.
No, I get.
Yes.
You said I went
Josh
first.
is
so
going
he
to go
goes
first.
Okay.
Yep.
Hold on. Okay, we did point it out. Okay, Albert. Stick to Halloween. Sell Halloween to me. Don't sell this fucking movie. Sell this.
I'm not supposed to sell it to him.
Oh shit. My bad. Sell it to Eric.
Yeah, it'll come down.
Just sell it to both of us. Yeah,
to
I
both
get
of
it. I get it. I understand what he's saying, but
Yeah.
sell it to
Okay,
both
okay,
of us.
okay. All right.
I'm going to set the timer, and we are go.
Ghostface. So let's point out the obvious. It's just some random individual wearing a ghost face Halloween. Okay? Keep in mind, serial killers are real. There are serial killers out there. And that is what Scream is actually implying to. Okay, I hate to kind of talk about the franchise, but one of the biggest things that the franchise talks about is anybody can be Ghostface. Ghostface lives on forever because of the individual that wears the mask. Throughout the entire movie, the first movie, they tell you that there is one killer, one person wearing a ghost face costume. To find out that there are two, and it makes so much sense why it makes it so rewatchable. Okay? You have two people working together, okay? That are planning ahead. These characters, I actually like to compare them to the Joker. What makes Joker so iconic is he's sadistic, he's crazy, but he's intelligent to the point where he plans ahead. Ghostface plans ahead. You would think throughout the entire movie that maybe it's a supernatural entity, maybe it's a person that is maybe possessed by a demon. But you have two people on the same page that are killing random individuals, stalking random individuals throughout the entire movie. And as you watch the movie, their personalities show. The flirtation on the phone in the beginning, you know that's Billy Loomis. Okay? You know that he is actually sweet talking his individuals. His way of killing, slice, or stab, right? And then you have Stu. Throughout the entire movie, he alludes to gutting people, going the extra mile, being sadistic. You know he's fucking crazy. And what does he do? He shows it by the people that he kills. He guts the boyfriend in the beginning. He guts the girl in the beginning. He's having fun as he's murdering these people.
Can I go now?
That's what makes Ghostface so unique, right? It's just not one style of killing, right? It's different people. It's whoever wears the mask, and that's why Ghostface lives forever.
I don't think he even knows what he's talking about, because at one point he says that, oh, they're planning it and this and that, but then he says there's random killings. Which one is it? Right? Second
By
point,
random killings, I do mean that it's just anybody that they're killing.
Yeah, but you also say that they're planning it. So planning it means they would pick out their victims.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Also,
wow.
He said that, you know which one is Loomis. There you go. So you know who the fucking killers are. So which means you're selling it to them as you will know who the killers are throughout the movie.
So do keep in mind, I want
Ruins
to
the
correct
mystique.
that. I said that's why it's rewatchable when you watch it the second time. But go ahead.
All right, fair. But with Ghostface, he's just an avatar for other characters to step in. It's not really that scary. Eric, you said like, oh, it's a horror movie at the end of the day, and he talked about how like there's serial killers, and this is real, but you want to watch a horror movie to be compelled, right, by the killer. You want to be convinced by why I'm watching this for this guy. This guy is fucking evil. You don't know who he is. Now, you want to talk about how Scream establishes rules on how to survive a horror film? Let's talk about rules on how to create a horror movie villain. How about you don't tell us who the identity is? How about you keep it a mystery? Why would you ruin it by showing it to us? Why would you ruin it by telling us what the motivations are? Revenge? Jealousy? That doesn't sound compelling to me. What sounds compelling to me is a killer who goes to Haddonfield. No one can fucking stop him. He is picking people at random because he is. He's stalking people. He's there. I'll get to it in the kill, so I won't get to this on this one with Michael Myers. But again, going back to Loomis, even like I said, he builds him up. You guys have played Final Fantasy VII, right? Sephiroth, you don't see him for like the longest time, but you hear about him. You hear about how he's a fucking threat. And Michael Myers, you hear how he's a threat. That's what makes him such a much more compelling slasher than Ghostface. Also, Ghostface is fallible, dude. You can technically outrun him. You can technically beat him. They're not smart. They're just teenagers, as he pointed out. Michael, don't know who the fuck he is. That's what makes it fucking terrifying.
So here's the thing. I don't get what you're saying, because you're saying that his identity is never revealed. In the entire movie,
I
the
said
name.
you don't know who he is. But
you talked about his identity.
No, not as an identity. I'm talking about like, is he human now? Is he a killer now? Who is he? Is he something possessed?
You also said things.
That's what I mean.
Okay, but my point is too is like we know who Michael Myers is. We know that he escaped prison. Right. We're also talking about an individual who has been in jail since he was a child. Keep in mind, when he escapes out of prison or wherever he's at, what does he do? He jumps into a vehicle and he drives away. Right. But
that
makes no sense to me. Okay. Second, you talk about anybody can face off against Ghostface. Yeah. Technically, anybody can face off of Michael Myers because the man doesn't even fucking run. Okay?
Right, but
you see the man from the distance. He's stalking several girls. These girls see him. Okay.
No, they don't.
At one point, they actually
don't.
see her they see him driving by.
No, they're like, no. If you watch the movie,
he's wearing the mask, and they're kind of like,
No,
"What's this guy's deal?"
You don't. They never
see
point
him?
out who it is. So I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. Josh, you got a minute.
Okay, so they see him driving by and they're like, "What's up with this weirdo? This is kind of weird." They see him in the distance, and then her friend kind of plays a joke like, "Hey, da 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 da." They're joking, and he's not there anymore, right? Throughout the entire movie, the guy is walking to kill his victims. Ghostface,
fucking terrifying.
because they come out of nowhere. Okay, they're not just stalking; they're chasing you throughout the house. They're going at you hard. Okay?
Can I go now?
Okay.
Yeah, but they still manage to outmaneuver him anyways. Like Sydney. Like all these other fucking characters. Yeah, they chase you, but they trip over on shit. Yes, they chase you, but you can fucking hit him with a chair. Michael, that's what makes it terrifying. You don't see the motherfucker coming. He would have been stalking you for 15 minutes. You wouldn't even know it. And before you can even utter another word, you're fucking dead. That's what makes him compelling, dude. What makes. And also, sorry, hold on. Also, the motivation, dude. You don't know the motivation. You know their motivations. That's breaking a cardinal fucking sin for horror slashers. Is you know the motivation, the revenge. Oh, I did it because of this, and I did it because of that. But also, I don't know why I did it. I did it because I'm fucking crazy. Oh well, now it's not as interesting anymore. Eric was talking about, I want to see which one's more compelling. By the end of it, once you know who they are, fuck. Well, then what's the point? Sorry, I'm veering off course. I'm done. Sorry.
Gentlemen, let me tell you something. Halloween takes place during the day and leads up to the night. Am I correct, Alberto?
Yes.
Keep that in mind, right? You're telling me a man that's just walking down the street in a fucking Captain Kirk mask in broad daylight, you're eventually not going to see this individual, and you're not going to be weirded out?
There's a similar scene like that in Scream 2, though.
Okay.
In the grocery store, the fucking Ghostface is stalking them in the grocery store too, and it's broad daylight.
So
So-
first off, it's throughout the movie. You notice that random people are wearing Ghostface masks during the school. You see actually students running around the school wearing the Ghostface mask.
But no
we
one
don't even
knows-
know if that's
sorry,
the killer.
sorry, but no
That's
one
the whole
knows who's
point,
wearing the
right?
Ghostface mask.
And what happens afterwards? They show up. They kill a person at the school. Okay, keep that in mind.
Now we're talking
Okay.
about kills. I think we should probably.
Oh yeah.
No, and I won't get into too much on that, but it's like you have a grown ass man who gets out of wherever he's at, prison, we'll say, drives a car. How does he fucking learn to drive a car? He's walking around in broad daylight. You're telling me that you're not going to notice that and question?
Can I also
When we talk
point-
about realism, that's why these Ghostface, you're giving them so little credit because, yeah, they are teenagers. Yeah, they're kind of little, like all over the place, but they're planning this shit.
No, they're not.
You know, they
Then why do they
know
keep getting
what they're
attacked?
doing. They know what they are doing. Okay. Yes, the kills are random, right? They're killing. They don't know why they're killing these people, but they plan ahead. They know what they're doing. They knew her boyfriend in the beginning of the movie was coming.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped him without surprise. They did it at night. They weren't walking around during the day.
Okay. Now you.
Not see, we're talking
yeah,
about kills a little bit. So, but
One
look,
minute.
I'll just leave it at this. There's a reason why Michael Myers is fucking iconic, and why he continues to transcend every other slasher film. Scream and Ghostface, yeah, you might see them in fucking like Spirit Halloween stores every fucking year, and that's what's gonna be a lot appealing to people. But if you're a fucking horror slasher aficionado, you know why he's much more iconic than any of those fucking characters.
If this was real life and you see him during broad daylight, he's going to jail right off the bat.
So same thing with fucking Ghostface. They're not as calculative as you think. Because if we're talking about a real, no, sorry, no, he's veering me off course. I'm not gonna buy into that. I'm sticking to my guns, like you guys were saying. Michael Myers, like I said, he is just a much more iconic character than Ghostface. You don't know who he is. Loomis said it before. He is purely and simply evil. There's nothing behind those eyes.
There's a difference between not knowing who he is and not knowing where he's coming from.
And then also and he keeps pointing out something that works to my advantage. Why? Isn't that what's so fucking compelling?
I'm here to talk about that in the next topic. Not right now.
You're the one who brought it up. I'm sorry. But,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
All right, hold on before you guys go. Okay, I don't know how to say this. Okay, Josh kept bringing it up that he's during the day fucking going grocery stores and shit, right? Do you have anything to counter that? Why? I don't know, like what he was saying. Is that
Counter
less
the-
scary or?
It is less scary.
Or
man.
what do you think? What of his?
No,
his-
it is less scary.
Are you talking
Mike-
about Michael Myers or are you talking about
like
Ghostface?
he kept bringing up Michael Myers during the day. Is that scary, or does it take away the?
No,
all that?
it doesn't take away the scare factor, because if you're watching as an audience perspective, that's one of the things that's like great about horror films is that the audience doesn't know, but the characters don't know, but you know where fucking Michael is.
Mm.
There's iconic shots like that throughout the fucking film that's littered throughout that. Like when they're walking home and you can see Michael like hiding behind the bushes and stuff. Like that right there is like, oh shit. I know what's going on here, but the characters are unaware of the situation.
Mm.
That's what makes that so compelling. Even in broad daylight, he's still like a force in this town.
But we're talking about also a town that is deserted, potentially, is what you're telling me?
So
Talk about
you just said that Scream's town was also in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah, it's actually in a wine country town in
Uh-huh.
California where the actually houses are
I
on
think
hills.
we're talking about locations now. I think we should play.
No, that's just
scale
what
it
I'm
back.
saying is, to argue my point is, like when we talk about a flaw of a movie, like, you have a grown-ass man wearing a Captain Kirk mask walking down the street in broad daylight and nobody questions it. Like, can he eventually disappear? Is he like hiding in a closet? for the rest of the day.
There's only one scene where that happens. Sorry, the one scene where that happens, and it's when he runs into Tommy, and Tommy fucking sees who he is. What do you mean that no one notices him? A kid literally notices him. Laurie notices him. Mm-hmm. The other characters notices him. What do you mean they don't?
They do nothing about it, which is interesting.
Because that's what you would do in real life situation. You would go up to this person.
All right, right. Okay. Fuck, I forgot. I had a question for Josh. All right. Ira had a great point that Michael is always behind the mask, as where Scream is an avatar for anyone to be under it. What do you think about that? Does that, like Albert said, they kill off the two killers at the end, and that's kind of like, right?
You're killing off the iconic characters of what could potentially carry on the franchise. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring the franchise into question, but that's why they're trying to bring back Stu, because he's such a memorable killer. Why kill him off then? Why reveal his identity? It's the same thing with fucking Saw. Why kill Jigsaw for it?
Here's the thing,
that's what
too.
Makes him so compelling.
That's more of like fan service with Stu, because he was just so fun, like as a psychotic killer, right?
Fun, not scary. I just want to point that out.
Well, not just fun, but he's sadistic. He's crazy. He brings a lot to the table.
Really,
right?
my mom's gonna be so mad at me. Does that fucking make you feel like afraid? I don't know if that makes me feel afraid.
His styles, absolutely, right?
His style
like
is
what
sloppy,
he brings to the
dude.
table.
His style is sloppy.
But keep in mind too, and I hate to talk about franchise as well, is every killer, if we were to talk about other movies, okay, Friday.
This point, Josh. I'll let you slide. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Friday the 13th, Halloween, you have these killers, Leatherface. They live on forever, right? They keep doing what they're doing, okay? The whole point of, when we talk about relatability, when we talk about real life, right? Serial killers are real. That's what Scream brings to the table, right? Anybody can wear that mask and continue to do that legacy.
Can I also just make one last point on
Ghostface is immortal through the people that wear that mask and do the kills with that mask on.
Okay. Alberto?
I just want to point out that, like he said, what is it you said? Bring it back, that last point about the slashers with the mask and everything.
Serial killers are real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole...
He said anyone can be the killer behind the mask.
But again, yes, that is true. But that's what makes him so compelling, because I feel like that one is much more scarier. That's what makes that concept more terrifying than a real person. That's what I'm saying. Again, they're breaking that cardinal sin. Why show them? Why reveal them? If you want to talk about, the serial killers are real. Yes, but these serial killers are exaggerated for a reason, because they're commentating on the slasher film genre. This one is the fucking killer. This one is a real example of what a serial killer could be. And it adds the mystique of, could it be omnipresent? Could it be evil? Could it be possessed? That's what makes him much more interesting than his.
Let me tell you something too, from a fan, and this is my final thing, guys. I apologize, and I'll just leave it at this. Is obviously these are movies, but if we were to talk about what stands out most, what is more realistic? What are the chances of this happening? Is it going to be Michael Myers, or is it going to be Ghostface? Think about that, guys. Think about that. And that's what Scream is actually trying to give us from a viewership perspective.
It's never mind. Go ahead.
I think we need a minute.
Yeah.
Or a couple of minutes here. This is
very
compelling.
This is loaded. We'll be right back.
Recording?
We are back, you guys. Let's hear it.
Eric is going to take this one because he kind of took it when you guys left. I was kind of like... Well, before Eric goes, I looked back to the rules because we were like... You guys had great points to the point we were like, should it be another tie? He said, hold on, let's look into the rules. So if it's a tie, you guys got to talk about the other franchises, like sequels and.
That's if you guys can't.
Yeah, and we were thinking about it. It was like, sequels are okay, some are fucking terrible. Some are terrible.
I think that also makes it interesting for us to talk about. Is the fact that they're so bad, we have to pull something out. You know.
Yeah, but we made a decision.
We don't want to go down that road.
It's fine. No, it's
Yeah,
fine. I
we
think
really don't.
We have a
didn't.
lot. We have a lot on the
Yeah.
table now.
We were just considering it. That's
Yeah.
why.
okay. Well, where your headspace was.
Yes.
Okay.
So this was by far the most difficult one to score, and we actually, the reason why it took a little bit longer for us to discuss this is because we really had to eliminate certain parts of the debate to just keep it simple. We're talking about Ghostface versus Michael Myers, just strictly the killer. We didn't want to dive into what's realistic, what's not. Let's just talk about the killer. We decided that Michael Myers is definitely the more iconic killer. He is the icon of what a serial killer is in terms of fear. Everything about him is just terrifying. He is like an unstoppable force. So we decided to award you 3, but award you 2 because the arguments were extraordinary. So that puts you guys both at 9 points total.
Oh, we're still tied.
So now you're tied.
Okay.
We didn't want to dive into the realisticness because it's not. We just wanted to focus on the killers. That's it. Just the killer
Okay.
itself.
Okay.
For that segment, because dude, we could go down this road that we'll never get to the end of it. So the next segment we want to blend together the kills and the scare factor because I think this is where we're really going to determine. Okay, so he might be the face of what a true terrifying killer might be. But now we're going to get into like, okay, what's actually scarier about this? Like, is it Ghostface more terrifying with the killing, or is it going to be Michael Myers?
Can we also talk about just how scary it is in general, not just tied to the kills?
That's a decision that I think
like you said,
you guys can make.
So
it blends. Let's talk about the. You guys can highlight the killings in terms of gore, how terrifying, the fear of it. Let's hear it, because that doesn't just because Michael Myers or whoever we decided Michael might be more terrifying as a killer. Doesn't it doesn't mean it has to translate to the kills and the scare factor necessarily.
Okay.
And how it all gets executed. Okay.
God damn it! Hold on, I got my. Hold on.
Do you need
No.
pause?
I'm gonna say something.
Okay.
Don't stray off again with the fucking he planned this like 2 weeks ago, and that's how he caught him. And no, kills. Okay, no fucking. Like I said, you planned this during the day. He went to get some fucking ice cream and da-da-da-da.
I'm gonna peel the onion back
That's
a little
just
bit.
we're speculating something we don't even know if it's real or not.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
just
peel-
Give us the kills, the gore. What makes it?
Yeah.
What makes it a great kill? What makes it scary?
Yeah, it's scary.
I'm just gonna say we should have said this before I started recording, because I feel like that's a conversation that should have been to set up what the next one is. Because for the kills and the scare factor.
That's fine.
You're good.
What?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so who went first? Or last time, sorry. Oh,
Josh
That's
went
true.
last time.
so you okay? 15 minutos on the clock. All right, I'll stick to the kills. No fucking.
Sorry, before you begin, can I bring a piece of evidence to the table also? In terms of scare factor.
Okay.
He will have his evidence too, I'm sure. Josh.
I got an actual concrete piece of evidence, and I wouldn't need the remote for that.
What the fuck? Okay. Eric? I don't know what you're doing, but okay.
We are turning on the television right now.
Yes.
It appears that Alberto is going
Yes.
to bring evidence to the table, and he's pulling it
I'm
up
going
on the TV
now.
right
You can go ahead and play it once I do this real quick. Give me a second.
So we're on YouTube right now. He's looking up Halloween 1978 on YouTube, just so everybody understands what's going on right now. And he's shuffling through endless scenes. We're having a really difficult
Here we
time
go.
finding
Okay,
the
I
scene.
want you
He's
to.
found the scene.
I want you to just the audience won't listen to it, but I need you to listen to this because at the time, if we're talking about the scare factor, we have to also talk about how scary it is when it came out. Are you recording this or like pressing start?
I'm going to press start right now.
Oh, okay.
This is actual audio taken from a theater from 1978 from The moment when Michael gets back up. Look how that fucking sounds, dude. How terrified the audience is. This is real audio captured from someone who was in the theater when it came out in 1978. This is not bullshit. This is real. You can research it up, or you could also fact check me on that. I'll just posit that, just for now, because we can't talk about the climax or ending, but just that alone. Do you hear how fucking terrifying, how terrified the audience was watching it at the time in 1978? I just want to say that the movie is still unsettling. It may not be as shocking or relying on its gore or on its violence. It creates the fear, the terror with the kills and the scare factor without needing to do any of that. That's fucking masterful if you ask me. But let's talk about the kills for a second. There's one kill that really sticks out to me, and that's Bob. Do you know who Bob is? The one who gets pinned up? Mm-hmm. When Michael kills him, there's this moment where it lingers on a shot with Michael watching, looking and admiring his work. Almost like, and this was actually what John Carpenter said to Nick Castle, is like you're watching butterflies. And you get the iconic head tilt after he kills Bob. And it doesn't stop there. He ritualistically gets these people after he kills them and sets them up in a way that feels like, shit, the grave. When he kills Lindsay. Or when, I think it's one of the other characters, they're swinging down when Laurie enters the house. That was what John Carpenter wanted to do at the time, was to create like a fucking, like you're going into a scary house, you know, like one of those like pop-up, you know, fucking fun house, spooky time type of thing. That's what he was going for, and it's effective. It's effective in its kills and how scary it is now. I brought it up again before. You want to be a filmmaker? You want to be a horror filmmaker? You want to know how to scare the audiences? That's how you do it.
Okay.
I appreciate you actually showing this film. You know, to it's kind of interesting because, you know, we've all been to a movie theater, right? Whether it's 1978 to present time, movie theaters has a little bit of an advantage, right? The build up, the tension. When you see something new and fresh, like Halloween, Scream, you're going to bring some excitement to the table. I am 90% confident, okay? Right? 90% confident that if you actually went to a theater in 1996, you probably would have gotten the same reaction in some way. And to be fair, not only were you hearing people screaming, you heard people cheering and clapping as well because they were enjoying the movie. That's not fear. That's enjoyment of the movie. Keep that in mind, gentlemen. Okay? Let's talk about Scream, the deaths, right? Anytime an individual is alone, you know things were going to happen. Okay? We talked about the intro. She was by herself. First death. The attack on Sidney Prescott. Her father told her that he was leaving town that night. Okay? She was alone. She was victim number 2. Okay? Wasn't a kill, right? But you know anytime someone was alone and that phone rang, something was going to happen, and you didn't know when Ghostface was going to pop out. Keep that in mind, okay?
You can say the same thing about Michael, too, and his kills. Just pointing it out also.
Okay? The kills. Let's talk a little bit more about the kills, okay? Let's talk about Stu's girlfriend. Anytime she goes by herself, they're at a house party, right? I am confident, as a fan of this movie, as I rewatch it, Stu wearing Ghostface so sadistic, so crazy that he was willing to kill his girlfriend. Think about that.
Can I now
Okay.
say rebuttal to that?
You are a serial killer. Okay? You can rebuttal after I'm done. Fair? Okay? You pin her up against the wall. Yes, she fights back. She knows she doesn't have a chance. Okay? She looks like she's winning the fight. Okay? She tries to leave. The garage door isn't working. The door is locked to get into the house. She tries to actually sneak out of the dog gate. Okay? Her boyfriend lifts up the garage. Keep in mind, this is 96. They didn't have sensors back in the day. Snaps her neck and leaves her dead. He looks, actually, and he tilts his head as well, maybe to pay respect, and then he walks away. He was enjoying the moment of killing his own girlfriend. Okay?
All right.
The boyfriend getting gutted. The first girl getting gutted. Hanging on a tree. Put on a pedestal to show off their work. Okay? We're also talking about the cameraman. They kill him. They slit his throat. The second he looks at the camera and he thinks Ghostface is in there, he forgets there's a 20-second delay. Gets out of the van and he's like, oh shit. Sees the doors open. Ghostface pops out of nowhere, slits his throat. That's not what he just does. They don't leave it at that. When Gail Weathers jumps into the van to drive away, there's blood all over the windshield. These guys are so crazy to the point they're willing to actually leave his body on top of the van. And then he falls off. They're having fun while they're doing this. That is the definition of a serial killer.
I feel like Josh is trying to paint you a picture of a serial killer, not how terrifying a killer can be. Because none of this, at least to me, sounds scary. And Josh brought up how it's like on rewatch, these guys are talking about it as if they've seen it for the first time. They're not concerned about rewatching it.
I'm telling them that when they watch it for the first time, they'll enjoy it the second time.
Yeah, but that's not the argument. That's not the argument. Rewatchability
Keep that in
is
mind.
not
That's
the
my point.
argument, though. John Carpenter is a fucking master. You've seen The Thing. I'm sure you've also seen The Thing, the practical effects and everything like that.
Hold on. You're straying off. What is this?
No, I'm going to get to a point.
Okay.
I'm saying he's great at making sure that you like what you see is like fucking like visceral. I didn't get that from any of that from Scream. He talked about how Stu killed, and it's the one with the garage lift, right?
Correct.
It looks very fucking cheesy when you see it on rewatch or the first time. You can tell it takes you out of it. It doesn't scare you anymore. Whereas the kills from Halloween, again, no blood, very little blood, minimal, and you can still feel the impact.
How many
Hold on,
kills?
Josh, I'm not done yet, please. You want to talk about playing with your victims? How about the moment when he walks in with the fucking sheet over him? Talk about motivation, right? Why would he fucking do that? It's been debated to this day why he did that. Did he want to toy with his fucking victim? Did he want to recreate how he was when he was a kid, wanting to see a fucking a woman naked? Who knows? But in the end of the day, he still fucking kills her. But you have to think about the psyche of Michael. He just got done killing someone, pinning him to the wall, and then tilting his head. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking put a sheet over myself, and I'm gonna go upstairs and I'm gonna terrify this girl, and she's not gonna know if it's her boyfriend or if it's a fucking stalker. Let's talk about another kill too. Annie Brackett, the daughter of Sheriff Brackett. It takes about 10 minutes, and it's all really done fucking well. To see her go through these little situations, and at any moment you're like, oh, it's this part, that's where she's gonna die. Nope. But you see Michael in the background. She turns around, she's on the phone, she looks back, he's gone. Okay, maybe it's in the next sequence. Oh, nope, still not dead. It's not until she finally gets into the car, and this is a cool detail too. There's a moment when she's going to open the door to go see her boyfriend Paul, and it's locked. And she's like, oh, whatever. She goes, grabs the keys. She doesn't unlock it. She opens it. And it doesn't connect with her that someone's already in the fucking car. But the audience knows. Oh shit, she unlocked the door. I thought it was locked. The audience is now like, oh shit, don't go in there. Don't go in that. You know that, right? You've seen that in the movie theaters. You're like, don't go in there. You're about to get fucking killed. It's so masterfully done. Whereas this is quick, visceral. It tries to rely on shock value to get you and nostalgia. Come on, dude.
So you're talking about. Let's talk about that death that's so iconic when he pins somebody to the wall with a knife, right? That movie has not. That part, unfortunately, has not aged well. How dare you?
That's your opinion, just like my opinion with.
How
with,
dare
other girl,
you?
Fucking.
Shit on the garage scene, right? Keep in mind.
How dare you shit on the pinning scene?
So keep in mind, he picks up a guy, he stabs him,
That's fucking terrifying.
and the
by
knife
way.
isn't even like completely through his body, and he is still pinned up against the wall.
Yeah, no.
We're not talking about realistic.
No, I'm just saying it
That's
did
right.
not. Well, I'm arguing that because he talks about how the garage scene just didn't look well, right?
No, I said it takes you out of it. I didn't say it looks well. I'm saying
Yeah,
it was
but
it was a good crafted kill. But when you see the end result, it takes you out of it.
Yeah, but when you find out who the killer is,
But they haven't seen it yet.
but
Josh,
keep that in mind. You're so sadistic to the point, and you're willing to kill your girlfriend. Everything is off the table,
Yeah, but these guys
right?
don't know.
We're talking about
these guys don't know,
a
Josh.
serial killer that's willing to do anything and everything, and they don't even fucking care, and they are enjoying it. Keep that in mind, gentlemen.
I
right?
think he's repeating himself. I'm sorry.
Also, yeah, I'm repeating myself and I'm emphasizing these points because that's what sticks out on these movies, right? And it's not just like the kills that are done on the victims, okay? It's even the like Stu's and Billy's final death.
Let him finish what you're saying.
Because here's the thing, right? You get satisfaction from a fan service, a viewer watching these movies, seeing Stu get crushed by a television, right? This guy's fucking crazy, right? And then he's killed by Sidney Prescott by a fucking television. Now, you can also argue that he was going to die anyways because he was overly stabbed. I don't want to get too much on that by Billy because they were trying to fake their set up the whole ending themselves, right? Like in any other horror movie. But Billy's too is so fucking iconic, right? And it sets up Sidney Prescott as such a badass because you have Randy, who's the fan of horror, and he calls it and he says, "This is the moment of the final scare factor." And Sidney just fucking, and as he jumps up, Sidney shoots him in the head and he said, "Not in my movie.
And hold on.
Not in my fucking movie."
I just want a quick point. Don't you laugh at that? Don't you think, oh, that's so fucking cool?
You know what?
Are you
I bet you if you
though?
watched that movie in
Are you
theater, I bet
terrified,
you the
though?
fans were screaming and cheering for that
Yeah,
movie.
same thing that you said about Halloween then. So it's
Yeah.
not terrifying in that moment, is it, Josh?
I wouldn't say. The scare factors, just to kind of reemphasize, again, it's the buildup, the phone calls, the chills.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's what makes Scream make you on the edge of your seat.
There's no way that this shit is that fucking scary. I'm sorry, Josh.
Okay.
Okay, it's time to.
2 minutes? Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
I might have my results already.
Shit.
Really?
First, I'm going to break kayfabe here.
Uh-huh.
Now, I've been hearing that audio. John Carpenter would say that he would go into the theater and hear it. And it's great that someone did do that. So that's kind of cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
You sold me with what's her name? Annie. That okay. Again, I'm gonna break character. I watched this film a million times. I know that fucking scene, but the way you built it. No, I'm not fucking around here. The way you said it and you build it up gave me fucking chills. Okay.
I just scared someone right now, Josh. And he's going for Scream, for fuck's sake.
All right. The way you talked about the kills and all that was like if I was rewatching it for the first time. See, so that kind of leans to what we're doing. Like if I am the first how do you say, watching these films for the first time. So you sold me on those kills.
But
Even with his kick-ass like the intro, yeah, it's fucking great. The elevator, the garage scene, and all that. But you kind of put me in like in the headspace of like.
Did I transport you to 1978? Eric, did I also transport you to 1978?
So I don't know if he wants to make you guys walk and we discussed that right now.
You're set.
It's 3.
We're talking about kills. I think about comparing how the kills look with each other, like from Halloween to Scream. We're talking about the scare factor, the way that the kills. You're talking about the build up to the kill. Once the kill is executed, it's kind of where it finishes. And I'm thinking about people hanging from a tree with their guts hanging out, entrails dumping out. It's like horrific looking, right? It's like that's what truly terrifies me when I'm watching the film. I'm like, whoa, dude, he just cut that bitch open. Now her shit's all over the fucking ground and her parents have to see that shit. And there's like, her entrails are all over. It is horrific. I think we might need to talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. I'm trying to think about the build up to the kill. That's it.
Check. We're good. Hello.
We are back. Josh, let me hear you real quick.
Check.
Check.
All right. Good.
One more time.
Check.
We're good. We're
All right.
good. Yeah.
All right, guys. We had a good discussion here. Like before you left, I gave you my opinion already. Like I said, it was you. But he kind of swayed me a little bit, Eric here. And we were kind of going to stray away and go to the other franchises. Like I said, it's going to take more time and a lot of fucking,
Yeah.
But again, it's up to you guys, whatever. But we decided to give you each 2 points.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead. Because we couldn't decide, basically,
I'm on it just personally.
Like
I think we're
want to
both
say,
surprised.
like,
Yeah.
Before you guys left, I even told you, like, even I seen it. I said I had a great character. Fuck, the way you described it and everything, it got me like, if I was like the first time watching it, it gave me the chills. I'm not fucking just making that shit up. It was like the way you described it. I just played it in my fucking head. It's like, oh shit, okay.
If we were to stray, I could describe one. I didn't have to show it.
Okay, but like, it's up
But
to.
that would only be if Josh wants to. If not,
Well, hold on, but Eric has to. Yep.
Before we say, I don't think it was undecided. Here's what happened. It was the first time we didn't agree
There
on
you
who
go.
won the round.
I think Josh and
Yeah,
I.
yeah.
He felt like your argument was more compelling, and I felt like Josh was more compelling. For me, when I think about the scares and the kills, look, the horrific nature of the kills in Scream leave you so uncomfortable. You almost don't want to keep watching. You're like, oh God, I don't know if I can live through another entrails and guts and parents seeing their kids hanging from a tree. To me, that's what horror is. That's what's horrific about it. And I felt like in Halloween, though the kills were incredibly suspenseful, they did not measure up to the kills in Scream. Not even close. We felt we couldn't agree on that, so we decided, I'm like, well, I would have picked Josh to win that round. He felt like you would have picked him. And so I would have gone like probably 3 points, but we decided to go 2. So that's where it was. It wasn't necessarily that he and I felt like it was a tie. It was more of we couldn't agree, so we had to tie it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Again, we added that little.
Okay, well then, we got 2 more topics.
And it's together, ain't it? Climax and.
We got one more.
That one and then
No, and the score.
and then the score.
Oh, okay.
So, what, climax and ending?
Yeah.
That's next. Who went last time? I forgot. Oh, I showed the
Yeah, you
fucking
showed
thing.
us.
So Josh,
We're actually on the score.
That's
Oh well, Eric said he wanted to do that dead last.
Oh, you wanted to do that dead last? No.
I would like to do the score last.
Okay.
That's fine.
So we still have 3.
No, we still have 2 because climax and ending is 1, and then it's score. So there's 2.
Then okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
score and or climax and ending.
Right.
Are one and the
So
same.
endings.
Yes.
Same rules apply. Just stick to the ending.
And the climax.
Yes.
Or should we? No. Climax and ending.
Whatever you have in your notes, guys.
Josh.
Oh, I'm going first.
Yeah, well, I went first last time, so it's only
All right.
only fair.
So let me talk to you a little bit about the climax, the build up to the ending. At this, we all know. So at this point, all these kids are at Stu's house and they're having a party. They have a get together. They're drinking alcohol. They're eating popcorn. They're watching horror movies. Okay. At this point, they start talking about the sin factor. What you need to do in order to survive a horror movie, which they know that they are living in at this moment. What are these rules? You can't have sex. You can't do drugs and alcohol. And to Eric's point earlier is you sure as hell better not say, I'll be right back. Because once you leave and you are by yourself, guess what? Like we talked about in this movie, what's chilling is when you are by yourself, you are going to die. Okay? But what happens during this climax? Everyone is drinking. Okay? Randall is left drunk watching the Halloween movie all by himself.
Is his name Randall?
Randall.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Randy.
Randy.
Randall.
I was trying to find what his name was, so thanks, Eric.
Prescott and Billy. They go in. They go upstairs. She gives in. She has sex.
Just describing a porn scene. Sorry.
She gives in and she sleeps with Billy.
Mm.
Gail Weathers. When she's walking down the street with Dewey, she states, I'll be right back. Okay? These are characters in the movie, right? That are breaking every rule of this sin factor, right? And let me also talk about Billy, right? You're throwing a curveball. Everyone thinks he is the killer at this point. She thinks that he is the killer. He slips up. He says something. She questions it. Ghostface pops out of nowhere, stabs him. He's dead. She goes. She's running, right? At this point, Gail goes into the van. She's killed. Dewey is found stabbed in the back. Okay? Randall's running out everywhere like a crazy man at this point. We don't know where Stu's at. Okay? Obviously, at this point, we don't think that Billy is the killer. Sydney gets away from Ghostface. She runs outside. She sees Stu, and she sees Randy outside. They're pointing fingers at each other. They're the killers. Look what they did. She doesn't know who to believe because everyone is a fucking suspect. She locks them outside. She's in the house. Billy is still alive. Thank God. He tells her everything's going to be okay. Give me the gun. Give me Dewey's gun. He opens the door. He lets Stu in. He reveals himself as the killer. He shoots Randall. He shoots Randy.
Sorry.
And then he reveals his motive. Okay? Yes, we can shit on this. Yes, we can hate on this.
You agree? Great.
No, I don't. Because they do it so fucking well. Because this movie is all about breaking the rules, gentlemen. Keep that in mind. It is all about keep breaking the rules. And Billy admits it. Everyone knows that a scary movie is better, is great because of there is no motive. Okay? Keep that in mind. This is going to go longer. I apologize, guys, and I expect you to go to a little bit longer because this is the build-up. This is the climax. This is 2 in 1. Okay? Why does he do this? Because Sidney Prescott's mom is a slut. No, she was sleeping with Cotton. She was sleeping with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
He broke up his family, which causes him to murder her mother. And it was so fucking easy to the point where he blames it on Cotton to make her think that's him, and that's why he's on death row. That's why he's about to get killed. Keep that in mind, gentlemen. They planned this from the start. When I talk about they planned this, right, to this night, because guess what? Who's actually tied up in the closet? Her father. Her father's the killer. This is what they want to do, right? They're going to kill Sidney at this point. Okay? They're going to kill him and make it look like that he kills himself. Because and they're going to stay alive because everybody loves a sequel. You can't just have one movie, one horror movie. You have to have a fucking sequel. So what do? They start stabbing each other. She asks Stu, if you want to talk about not having a motivation, why did you do this? And what does he say? Peer pressure. He didn't have a fucking motive. That's why everybody loved Stu, because he is the definition of a serial killer. Yes, Billy is damaged. Yes, he's deranged. And this whole time Billy is quoting horror movies, and she tells Billy, you've watched too much fucking scary movies. And you know what his response is? Horror movies don't make psychos. Horror movies give psychos leverage, ideas.
Make them more creative.
Makes them more creative. Thank you. Okay? As they're stabbing themselves, Sidney gets away. She takes the gun. She starts playing games with these guys. The hunted has become the hunter. She goes after Stu. She fucks him up. You want to talk about somebody who is a stand-up role, woke, strong woman, independent woman? That is Sidney Prescott, right? She kills Stu. He ain't coming back. Say all you want, Alberto. He ain't coming back. That dude is dead. He was bleeding to death. He got his face fucking smashed. Gail Weather is there to save the day too. Keep in mind, she should have been dead. She broke the rules, right? She survived. Yes, she fucks up. Yes, she keeps her gun on fucking, keeps the safety on, right? But she's fucking alive, right? Sidney Prescott stands up to her fears and she kills her boyfriend, her sadistic boyfriend. And everybody who broke the fucking rules to an ending of a scary movie has survived. Sidney Prescott sleeps with her boyfriend. Randall is drunk. Gail Weathers. I'll be right back. They're all there for the next sequel. Right? And then, sure enough, Randall, the fan of horror movie, of horror genre,
1 minute, Josh.
okay, says, this is the point where we get our final scare factor. This isn't to give you cheese, it's to actually give the audience what they want. Those people, fans like yourself, enjoyable moments, right? Because yes, I can tell you, that scene, even though you were expecting it, it still was a shock factor. It still gave you scares, but Sidney Prescott stands up to it and fucking shoots him in the head and says, not in my movie.
All right. You can take your time like Josh did. Or, I don't know, wherever you want to go. So,
All right. This whole thing has been predicated on the fact of which is a better horror movie, and I know that horror's subjective, but I think we can all agree that at the end of the day, what makes a horror movie good is the unpredictable nature of certain endings. Hereditary is one of them that comes into mind. Batshit crazy, not really that much explanation, and it sticks with you. Sinister is another one. Halloween is a master at this. With Scream, everything gets resolved. Everything gets resolved. It feels like the characters have a victory, like they won. The one-liner, not in my movie, shoots them in the head. Everyone is like, even Gail gets her little time in the spotlight. You know, everything gets tied up in a nice little bow. There's nothing horrifying about that. Also, how planned these killers were, still got fucking foiled. They're still not as smart as they think they are from the horror movies they got inspired by. They still end up getting killed anyways. Let's talk about Halloween now. Halloween for this entire film has been a slow burn, slow paced. And in the climax, all these characters are dead except for Laurie Strode, the final girl. She goes into that house. She fights Michael. Not really fights Michael, but she tries to defend herself from this unkillable fucking force, this monster. And then you see Loomis. He goes into the house. And it's almost like this, like, okay, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen now? There's that moment where Laurie seems to kill Michael. We get that iconic shot of her in the hallway, and then Michael rises back up. He's not dead yet. And what I love about that scene is how it kind of just delays it. She walks out. Michael still follows her, quiet, and then they go in for the final foot. At this point, we never seen Michael be this visceral. Now he's trying to like fucking choke her. And then Laurie takes off his mask, and that Dean Cundy, such a great cinematographer, you only see just a little bit of Michael before he puts his mask back on, gets shot by Loomis. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, Laurie Strode was saved." It's not the point. Michael gets shot. We think he's dead. Falls off the fucking balcony. And what do we get? One of the most iconic endings in horror films, not just slashers, horror films. Loomis looks out. He sees an imprint of where Michael was. He's gone. The fucking theme kicks in. It's more powerful than it's ever been at this point. And Loomis just looks around like, oh shit. I didn't do it. He's still out there. And then there's these shots of the homes that he's invaded while the music continues to play. And you hear Michael's breathing accompanied by all this. He's anywhere now. He could be everywhere. That's fucking terrifying. And when I said that the intro, or was it the intro? Whichever one was memorable, more memorable, that is where it sticks in your fucking mind. Is that ending. Right there. That's all I gotta say when it comes to the climax and the ending.
God damn. Felt like you told me a fucking story over there. You two get it. Like, holy shit. It's like you guys are counting your own, like you were there type of thing. That was fucking good. Fuck. I don't know. Yep. You guys got to be honest, guys. You fucking are bringing it, man. First, you guys were. Well, Albert came out of the gate fucking swinging. But Josh took him a while. Now he's fucking like just like a boxer. Albert. He made you fucking take the you know.
But
but now you guys are like right here. You're
I do want to say that like when I watched Scream before watching this, it felt so much like a fucking Saw ending. It was so convoluted. And I know that like Josh says it was really well done and everything like that, but watching it and seeing it all come together, it's such a risk for you to buy all of that. Whereas, and that's fine. But where Halloween excels is that it doesn't need to do any of that. It doesn't need to complicate things. It doesn't need to speak on the genre that it's in. It simply is. It's just it's a fucking horror movie.
I agree with you.
That's what we're here debating about.
I agree with you 100%, and I appreciate you saying that, but not everything always has to be a question mark type of ending. Not everything needs to be an ending where everybody dies and that's it. Right? Okay.
Not everything, Josh.
But the thing is like they left scarred, but they were the ones on top at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what that's what takes away from the tension and the fear that people so much want to talk about Scream is.
But you also got to talk about the damage that it's done.
But I feel like you see it more in Halloween with Laurie. She's like, you can tell she's fucking traumatized. Like they survived the night. This one, it feels like they conquered the night. Which one is more terrifying? The fact that you conquered it or the fact that you survived it? You know? And I feel like with Laurie, she fucking survived it. Loomis, he's also like, my job's not done. You know? That to me is more compelling in a horror movie. Not the fact that they conquered it, the fact that they survived it. And Sydney didn't feel like she survived it. I feel like she conquered it.
To your point, in order to conquer, you have to survive. You have to face your fears. This is a movie of definition of again, going back to a damaged individual. You didn't know that she was going to be this type of person. Yeah, she kind of like fought her way through for the first ghost face attack. Absolutely, I get that, right? You could say also, like Laurie, she got lucky. The whole point of being in a scary movie is you're living a nightmare. And are you willing to conquer, step up, and face your fears? That's what this movie's about. Facing your fears.
No,
Laurie wasn't facing her fears.
I think you got it reversed. I think Sydney was facing her trauma.
She was facing her
Laurie was facing her fears. Not even her facing her fears, actually.
What did she have fears to go up against?
Hold on, let me backtrack. It's not her facing her fears. I feel like Halloween is about how a collective comes together to sometimes go through something so horrific and that sometimes you just survive it. It's kind of like when you have a fucking panic attack. It's terrifying. You don't know how to respond to it. Sometimes you just like scramble and try to figure out what to do. But in the end of the day, sometimes you just survive it. That's what makes that shit so much more horrifying. I know we're not supposed to talk about which one's more grounded, which one was realistic. I get that. But I feel like that's what the point of Halloween is that sometimes bad things just happen to people. And sometimes you just survive it. Scream, and I can't believe I'm saying this again, it just continues to live in the shadow of other slasher movies where it's like we have to break the rules because it's stale and all that. But it itself still continues to follow the same tropes.
But you have to understand that's the foundation of the movie. Going into that, you're not going to be like, oh, this is a cliche movie. It tells you it's going to be cliche, but it's going to break the rules while it's at it as well. Also, if Halloween was a standalone movie, there was no sequels or anything like that, what type of person is Laurie? What is she going to be afterwards?
That's what makes that so interesting, though, right? No, that's what makes it so compelling.
Yeah, but
right?
I know we're not going to be talking about franchises, but she turned out all right. If I were to talk about the other movies, I hate to go into that, but the thing is, let's talk about Scream, right? Sidney Prescott conquered her fears.
Sorry.
Right? She stepped up, but she didn't do it alone. And that's what also going back to like what made all the characters unique and why they were better than Halloween is that when you actually have people to gravitate to, right, it builds you up. It makes you a better person.
But Josh, you just said everyone's a suspect. Who is she fighting with? Most of them are end up dead, except for Gail.
For all we know, during the movie, she was a suspect.
Sydney.
She could have been a suspect. With her history, absolutely. She could have been Ghostface based on her history. That? Absolutely.
No, we're kind of we gotta stick to the ending.
All
okay,
right.
that was a minute.
Okay.
We were kind of fucking generous there, guys. I was caught up in the fucking moment. That's why I didn't say anything. Okay, you guys had a nice fucking generous time to debate. I don't know what Eric feels, if he wants to make you guys go and we talk.
Do you feel you want?
You haven't said anything.
No, I'm with you. I'm listening to the closing arguments, and I almost wonder. I kind of feel like these movies aren't comparable.
Explain.
Well, they're just so different.
Can you save it for the end?
Yeah, sure.
Let's save that. I like that. I love it. But let's save it. Actually,
That's fine.
Until
I'll save
everything's
it.
done, please.
Okay. So where does that leave us? Should we let you guys defer?
What do you think, Edgar? I'll let you decide this.
All that Josh wants to. So let's take.
All right, let's hold on. All right, go ahead. We'll take a little. Okay, there we are back after the smallest of intermissions.
We talked for a while. I'm still fucking like I don't know what to decide here. We and Eric we decided that they're completely different towards the end. Like they're like their own thing, you know. Like Halloween is a classic, like slasher through the end. As where Scream is also that. It has a little bit of thriller and mystery, right?
Okay.
And he said, we don't know what to decide here. And he brought a good point. If we had an audience to say, to decide.
Yeah.
And when he said that, it's time to bring out the nuke.
The nuke? No, not yet.
You sure? It feels right to me now because we can't decide what's the ending. I mean, what to like who's. Or like Eric said, we can give you a question, give Josh a question, and that's how we decide.
So what have you two decided?
He kind of swayed me because it's like you said, it's like their own thing towards the end.
Who sold it more? Who sold it better? That's my curiosity.
I don't know who's getting the points. Is it a tie still?
Is it undecided? Do you not have points?
He said we're not undecided, so.
What do you think, Eric? Speak up, baby.
So I spoke earlier, and I said listening to you guys debate, and your debating of Halloween is so fucking sensational. I don't even know how to comprehend it. Like the way your preparation and your passion and your energy that goes into this is I don't even it was on a whole nother level. I don't even know how to I'm just whoa, okay. It made me think about Halloween in a whole different way. Man, I gotta put more respect on that name. Not to say that I didn't have respect on it. I just don't think the movies are comparable. I don't think they're the same. I don't think Scream is like any other slasher. I just don't. I think it's wildly different. It was intended to be wildly different. It was intentional in its way. It owned what it was. It wasn't trying to disguise hey, we're gonna rip off this other slasher generation. It was no, we're going to do our own thing, but also kind of play in a little bit to the old slashers, but we know that, and that's okay, but we're going to take this totally different direction. We're going to have a very mysterious story. It isn't going to end like Halloween, because if it did end like Halloween, there'd be no debate.
Well, I thought
it would be Halloween.
I thought we were trying to convince you as if you guys never seen it now.
That's what we were talking about
yeah,
too.
that's what we're that's kind of where I'm going with it.
We said that's the tough part in a way we were talking about, because we did see these fucking films, right?
Yeah, it's so hard to make a determination when you've seen the films. I think if
was I not passionate
hold
enough,
on,
Eric?
did
I not sell it to
Hold
you?
on a second. No, I'm just saying, dude. I think his passion and the way he described Halloween was on a greater level. However, I think the way you described Scream and all of the anticipation and mystery, I think that's going to draw people to want to watch Scream.
So who did it better? I guess.
But see, Eric is coming at it from like who's gonna want to watch it. I'm trying to debate
Yeah.
on what's a better horror movie, because that's what me and Josh
Yeah.
established.
Yeah, I think. Okay, I'll
In,
answer
in that sense, I'm sorry,
Like,
I'm not trying to like.
No, he's right.
Who
You
sold
know?
it better? Yeah.
Josh
What's
sold
the
Scream better.
better?
He sold Scream better. It's a more mysterious.
No, but Josh, you
build-up.
said who sold it better. I thought we were debating what's the better horror movie though.
Right,
I know.
right,
That's what I'm. That's what
right.
I'm saying. Yeah. Who
de-
sold the
des-
better horror movie?
The description of the Scream it is sold as a better horror, is a better movie.
I think we reach an impasse. Because you guys don't got no points to give, do you?
What are the points?
If you were to give a point to Alberto right now, what would that be?
2,
What would you give me?
3.
What would you give out?
Same.
Fuck. Should we? I think score is going to determine it, man.
Yeah, it has
Okay.
to.
No,
it
but
has
see,
to.
that's what we talked about, and he kind of brought up a good point.
Scream doesn't have a score.
There you go.
But
Halloween-
No, I got
Halloween
some
is
stuff.
the ultimate score.
I got
If
an
Josh has
argument.
it,
Okay,
then
all right.
let him
okay.
argue it.
Go.
I got it.
Okay, so
We're in it now.
Yeah,
Score.
but the thing is, too, is do we have a point? Who's ahead? Where are we at?
Let's leave it as a tie, and this will decide it.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
I just asked him what the score was.
But he
gave
now,
me-
but he has a go. I want to hear it.
Right now, if it were me and I was a judge, I'd keep it as a tie. The score will determine.
You're not a judge, though, Alberto.
I'm not saying
That's what I'm
but
arguing right
that's
now.
what I'm saying.
that's the thing. It's fucking Halloween. He even
But
agrees.
Josh says he has something. I
Yeah,
want to hear it.
I wanna hear what-
I'm sticking
Yeah,
to my
I wanna hear
guns, gentlemen.
So then it's the score. Please go.
Let's go. But they did, give me some points. I'm just. I am up one. I'm just.
Well, let's make this clear. I think this needs to be Josh. Well, no, I think Alberto should talk about the Halloween score too.
Absolutely.
But I think Josh should go first on the Scream
Yes.
score.
Go ahead. What do you have for the score? What's the points right now? We are recording. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, okay.
All right, man.
All right.
Let's go.
The score for Scream. Okay, guys, keep in mind the score changes through the entire movie. Okay, they put in a mixture of nostalgia. They put in actually classic rock, depending on the scenes, because they are catering to specific individuals. And yes, they do actually have a score, which I think, in all honesty, and I'm going to show it to you here in a little bit, is very underrated. And they keep it not just in this one, but into the entire franchise. Okay, but before I speak on that, let me actually talk about the intro of the movie. Okay.
Sorry, I should have been going first. He did the climax ending. Sorry. Go ahead. I just noticed that.
Cut this shit out.
Go ahead.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good, Judge. Go ahead.
The start of the movie, when Casey is now presented that she is being stalked by a serial killer. The beginning of the movie has a hard guitar sound that stretches. And if you listen close enough, it's John Carpenter's theme song.
God, I cannot escape the shadow of Halloween, huh?
Okay? It's a movie that's paying its respect. Right? It's a movie that shows love to horror movies. And it pays respect to it. Okay? When I talk about characters getting their own themes, okay? Yes, I know Alberto's going to hate this because they kind of allude that Billy Loomis is is potentially Ghostface. Okay? When he actually sneaks into Sidney Prescott's room for the first time and he starts actually quoting horror movies, he tells her, I just watched Exorcist and it put me in the mood. And he tries to make a move on her. He wants to do the nasty with her. Okay.
How's this related to the score?
They play a score. Okay, and it is a classic song called.
Don't play it, Josh. Was letting you know.
I'm not playing it.
Okay, cool.
I'm not playing it. It's called "Don't Fear the Reaper." And they do this strategically, right? Because they're trying to catch you. And they're trying to say, is he the killer? This is too obvious. There's no way that Billy can be the killer, right?
Okay.
Okay? The actual theme of the movie. Let's talk about this. And like you, I'm presenting it because I do feel like it is extremely underrated.
You gonna play it?
I'm going to play it for you gentlemen.
I don't think you can.
Okay.
Copyright.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to play it from a distance.
Or we can pause it and we can listen to it.
Okay?
You want to do that?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Let's do that.
Quick.
All right, so I just played it for these fine gentlemen, okay? And it is let me give you a little bit of history. This guy was hired by Wes Craven, okay? He's done several movies before this. He came in never doing a horror movie. He didn't know what he was doing. And this is what he came up with, okay? It is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated scores in a horror movie. It is extremely underappreciated. And for an individual to come in and never do a horror movie theme, right? And if you can tell by the structure of the score, right? It brings elements that were popular in the 90s, right? They put in a lot of metal. Metal was popular in the 90s, was it not?
Creed too.
Right? Keep that in
Biscuit.
mind, guys. So it's reaching out to the audience, right? For somebody to come in and make a score like that and do it for 6 other movies, you have to pay that man respect.
Okay. You good? This is all predicated on the fact that people know these little intricacies about the score. I don't think people are going to be listening to the score while they're watching Scream. It's not that recognizable. When you're watching the film, fades into the background. Halloween's front and center. Let me tell you why it's front and center. Because I have to quote the master himself, John Carpenter. But before I do that, it was self-composed by John Carpenter due to the lack of funds of hiring a composer.
Obviously.
Yes.
We all know that.
Worked in his favor because it made it more even legendary when you consider the fact that John recorded the music without synchronizing it to the picture, using a stopwatch and then to match it to the film later. When you watch it, you don't know that. But the fact that he put that much effort into it without even watching the picture is so fucking legendary. But let me get to the quote from John Carpenter. I screened the final cut, minus sound effects and music, for a young executive from a 20th Century Fox. She wasn't scared at all. I then became determined to save it with the music, further adding to the score being iconic and elevating to the sense of horror. I'll give back to John Carpenter in a second. Kobe Bryant himself once said in an interview, I used to play the Halloween theme song over and over and over in my headphones. And it was important that it was Michael Myers because the mask itself was void of emotion. Even the man himself, Kobe Bryant, used the fucking score. That was legendary. Going back to Carpenter, there's a point in making a movie when you experience the final result. For me, it's always when I see an interlock screening of the picture with the music. All of a sudden, a new voice is added to the raw, naked, without effects or music footage. The movie takes on its final style. And it's this that the emotional total should be judged. Need I say more? Hold on. Josh. Hold on, because I do actually have more to say on the score. Besides it just being iconic, it elevates the horror film. Now, what do I mean by that? Eric, let me ask you a question. When you remember horror movies besides the kills, is it true? Would you say it's true that it's the cinematography and the score that really elevates horror films, Eric?
I do.
Okay, let me give you an example. Sinister. Cinematography is fantastic. The score is amazing.
We're not here to talk about other
I
movies.
know. Hold on, Josh. Same thing with Hereditary. The music does something to you when you listen to it. It actually is composed in such a way that it gets your heart rate going. All of that, I feel, in my opinion, was inspired by that one movie and its score. It created what would eventually become the staple of horror movies. For as much as Scream wants to gravitate and be like, oh, we got all these tropes and all these cliches, the one thing it fails at is its score. If you really wanted to connect with audiences, you wouldn't make a score that fade into the background. You would make a score that's just as legendary as the rest of the film itself. That's it.
So I love the fact that you talk about legendary and people talk about it all the time, even bringing up Kobe Bryant. But unfortunately, your downfall on that. Let me ask you something, and you don't have to answer, but I want you to sit on this. Though, when something is legendary, what happens to it? It ends up getting outplayed. It eventually gets oversaturated, potentially overrated as well. Kobe Bryant, as great as he was, all the wins that he was doing was overrated. Okay?
We're not here talking about Kobe Bryant, though, Josh.
I'm talking right now, sir. Thank you. I'm talking right now. I'm not done.
He is talking. Okay.
I'm talking about a movie that identifies several scores to amplify a scene, right?
Several scores. It can't even make its own score. It has
while
to take
paying
from
respect, but it meshes so well. Eric, you don't have to answer this question, but I want you to sit on this as well. When I just played that theme song to you, didn't it just click?
It did click.
Didn't you think to yourself, holy shit, Edgar as well, holy shit, how could I have overlooked this? Why? Because it is so fucking underrated. Think about that, gentlemen, right?
We're not talking about what score is underrated, though, dude. We're talking about which one is
legendary. But that's also what makes it great, guys. Think about that, right? Yes, Halloween is so great, it can overshadow everything. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's not
the
true,
score
it's the truth,
is
Josh.
The score to the Scream cannot be overlooked. It needs to be appreciated for what it is, right? The fact that they brought in, yes, they give you a little bit of the love for Halloween, John Carpenter's score in the beginning. Keep in mind, every character, Billy Loomis, don't fear the Reaper. Come on. What are they trying to do to us? What are they trying to tell the audience?
Tug at your heartstrings,
Guys?
and it's not working, Josh. Eric didn't even. He said that the Scream score doesn't even exist. You had to bring it out of the fucking grave for him to remember it.
But keep in mind, when I played that, something clicked.
It clicked.
Something clicked with
momentarily,
Edgar as well.
Yeah, and I could have done the same thing.
Guys, I just want to just leave it at this, and I'll end my piece. It is overlooked. It is underrated. It is underappreciated, which gives you reason to love it even more, right? Yes, the obvious route is John Carpenter. The easiest route. John Carpenter's score. Yeah, okay, so iconic, right?
Feels like you're giving it its flowers, Josh.
I'm not giving any flowers. I'm just appreciating what is overlooked, and we intend to do that as human beings.
No, I didn't mean
what
about the
is
Halloween thing.
great, guys.
I'm saying about Scream. You're giving it inadvertently. You're giving
Alberto,
Halloween
I'm here
its
to talk
flowers,
to
though.
Edgar and Eric, okay? I'm not here to talk to you right now. Gentlemen, think about that, right? It's always about the underdog. It's always about what we overlook. The fact that it touched you guys when I played it, I know you guys were wowed. I know you appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we need to be reminded. And I'll leave it at that.
You want to say something before we...
All I want to say is you guys know that Halloween's theme song alone is iconic. The entire soundtrack is great.
Yeah, it can be overrated. That's why I said
I
that.
didn't say it was overrated, but again, like I said, Josh talking about all these other scores and how they mesh well, it's still the DNA of Halloween anyways. He's still complimenting Halloween anyways. It doesn't form its own identity. It's the same. Even it's called Fear the Reaper.
They played it for just a matter of seconds.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like something that lasted, right? It was a matter of seconds. Every movie does that. When you talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, I apologize to kind of steer away. You know, movies that played specific songs in the background. Scream did it as well. They were one of the movies that played specific songs in the background to kind of tell you something, what they're possibly alluding to.
Again, Josh, this is talking under the... Go ahead.
When we talk about scores, that what he brought up, that's the score for the movie, right? What Josh is bringing up is various artists, so it's not technically original, if that makes sense. As where Halloween was made for that movie. If what I'm trying to say here, like, if there was more iconic scenes from that composer, yeah, it can be a different story here. But it kind of relied on other music to.
That's
you know what I'm trying to
the
say?
point I'm trying to make, is that it just doesn't form its own identity anyways, just like the rest of the film.
Halloween had no choice but to rely on that because of the budget, because of what they were working with.
And look what came from it, man.
No, absolutely.
Exactly.
But you can't allow greatness to always overshadow what. So you state that what they're doing can be unoriginal, right? You know, but are they doing it with purpose? Okay. And they execute it so well, right? When you talk about the way it's directed, the way that it's composed, why did they choose this song? What was the purpose behind it? Why did they come out with the Reaper?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What was the purpose for that? You know?
But again, Josh, and I'm just speaking to you. I just, your whole premise about Scream, just in general, it's embedded in the DNA of Halloween, especially the score.
Well, we're not here to talk about the
hold on,
how
Josh,
it set the foundation to
I'm not
slasher
talking about the
movies.
foundation. I'm talking about Halloween itself and how it's a great horror film. You continue to be like, oh, it keeps alluding, guys.
But they do it with
keeps
purpose.
keeps
That's the
taking
part where
nods.
you're not listening to me, Alberto. They
No,
do it with purpose,
I
with
understand.
reason.
I understand
Okay?
its purpose, Josh. I understand its purpose. But we're talking about a horror movie here. And what you're describing is horror satire. What you're describing is a parody of
I'm not here to
another
talk
horror
about
movie.
Friday the 13th,
No, I'm
which
talking
is
about
the
Scream.
definition. If you want to talk about the ripoff of a Halloween movie,
All right.
then let's talk about Friday the 13th. I'm not here to do that. Okay? I'm here to talk about a movie that gives you nostalgia in every aspect, from the characters to even the score itself.
And nostalgia is easy, dude. It's low-hanging fruit to make people be like, oh, I like it. You get blindsided by that. Eventually, you'll
and
see it
that's
again.
why
No,
Scream
eventually
gets
you'll
the
see
love
it.
and the respect.
Eventually, you'll
that
see it again, and it won't
gets.
be as iconic anymore.
All right. God damn you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Josh really pulled one out of the hat there at the end.
Right?
It reminded me. Now, hold on. Let me say this. I'm just gonna look. I've looked over at that image all night. Of the cover of the Halloween film, right there, that he's got on the table here. And every time I look over at it, I think of that tune. Every time. That's it. I'm not gonna dive. I don't want to dive into how it was created in Kobe Bryant. I don't really give a shit about all that. I don't care. That was unbelievable little piece of information. I'll say that blew my mind. But to get away from, I'm just saying, to get away from Kobe Bryant, to get away from all that was created for the movie, and that's kind of it. Although
You did remind me. Scream has one. You're right, and I forgot about it. But that's kind of the problem. Is I kind of forgot about. I actually mentioned Friday the 13th and its little whatever kind of.
That's more iconic.
Right. So it's like, okay, that is Halloween to its core. I don't know if that makes it a better movie.
Ooh.
But that right there, what he's talking about, it is Halloween. It is Halloween. That's it. That's all I got.
All right.
Eric, go ahead.
Going back to Josh's compelling argument about the score, and it's interesting because I never knew or thought about some of the music that they use to tie into the story and how it's like dropping little hints, like it's trying to show you like, hey, this is what's going on, but it's kind of like right in front of your face and you don't know it. When I hear that tune from Halloween, I just think of Halloween. I just, that's all I think about. Okay. And I think it's just, it embodies what it is. And that's it.
That's Josh. Fucking. Whoa. Okay. When he played that tune, it did like unlock something. Like, okay, I heard that tune before. Shit.
Okay.
And that's the thing that we and Eric agreed though, but it's forgettable though, right? And I brought up like, okay, it also relies on various artists, like the Don't Fear the Reaper and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he said it too, like it kind of trying to hint, like he said, he's the killer, or you know, all that shit. Got me thinking too. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool, of that if you think it that way, you know. I don't know, man. Like if Josh brought out more of the composer and other songs from it, maybe. But that's only one song out of the whole movie. As where Halloween, yeah, I think he's just talking about just the theme. Right? There's Laurie's theme. Yeah, if you play it right now, I think he would say, "Oh, I heard that one too." And if you play another one from the Halloween soundtrack, he will say, "I heard this one too."
Right.
So it's not only the one; it's the whole entire soundtrack of Halloween. Okay. Right? That's my opinion. But fucking Josh, kudos, dude. That fucking. I thought he, from the beginning, I knew the score was Halloween. He did too. But when he fucking went like, no, I want to say my 2 cents here. He fucking.
All right, well, let's not leave us in suspense then.
Well, should we have maybe some final says? It obviously doesn't.
Okay, hold on.
No points for it, but maybe some.
We just to settle it, like, okay, this can be the whoever wins it, or it can be a tie, whatever the case is. Eric wants to know why you keep bringing up why Scream lives in the shadow of Halloween. Why you keep doing that? Like, why you keep bringing that up? Like, you know. And with Josh, it's kind of tough to what kind of question I could ask him. But I can say the same. I want to say the same thing. Like, do you think Halloween or Scream lives in the shadow of Halloween? What do you think?
You want to ask that to Josh?
Yeah. And you is why you think Scream lives in the shadow. If that makes sense.
Well, I don't even need to. I think everybody agrees that Scream is heavily influenced by Halloween.
Okay, well. Convince him though.
Convince Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, convince you.
This is it. This is the fucking.
I thought
1, 2, 3 count.
What about?
Can I start with this actually? I like this topic.
Are we not doing the score anymore? What's going on?
Do we want to score the score?
Right. Yeah, because
do you want to score the score?
I figured that's how we're gonna do it by the
let's
books.
hear it.
Okay, I would go 3 to Alberto, 2 to Josh.
Same.
Okay.
Where are we at then?
Well, that would put him 1 point ahead if we tied the prior round.
So that would make me the winner.
Well, it was 11 and 11, so it'd be 14-13.
How do we feel about that? Should we?
No, that they have the final say.
Do you guys want to leave it like that?
Well, he has a good point, Howard. Let's say I'm in his shoes too right now. Convince me why you keep saying that.
Why do I keep saying that Scream lives in
Don't
the...
say, oh, it shows and da-da-da. No, you said that throughout the debate.
Can I jump in first, or do you want to
All right.
ask Alberto first?
So
Do
the
you mind?
question is the same, okay? Why do the shadow, it lives in the shadow of Halloween, and if he disagrees on that, that's his.
Well, I think even Josh would agree to it. That's why we couldn't even bring that to the table about why Halloween was so influential to Scream.
So then my
even you
question
would
to
be-
you is, why do you keep bringing it up then?
Why do I keep bringing it up? Because you keep bringing it up also. You keep alluding to the score and how it took influence from Halloween. So I can't do it, but you can't.
I never once said that it lived in the shadows.
No, I'm not saying you didn't.
I said that it was a movie that was paying respect to previous horror movies, not just Halloween. You keep talking about Halloween overshadows Scream.
But Josh,
So-
tell me the other movies that they name drop. In
I just talked about
Scream,
them earlier if you were listening.
one, that they would use for the rules of horror film. What's the one movie that they used to predicate it on? What is it?
Black Christmas.
Halloween. They watched the fucking movie and
They
it's like,
have it in
here's the
there.
rules.
So,
here's the
so
rules.
they pay respect. You keep thinking that it pays respect just to one single movie, but it doesn't, right? There are a lot of classic horror movies, slasher movies out there that it actually pays respect to. I never said that it actually lives in the shadow, right? To be fair, if we were to talk about that, every movie that came out of Halloween is a shadow of Halloween, right? Friday the 13th is a perfect example, right? It is a mirror of Halloween. Any slasher movie out there, right? This is a movie that pays respect. Keep in mind, right? The high point of horror slasher movies, late 70s, okay? I would say, actually, 70s, 80s. They died in the 90s, okay? We can't name really one slasher movie that was great in the 90s. Even if you were to talk about A Nightmares on Elm Street, great movie, came out in the 80s. After that, Wes Craven walked away from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it went downhill after that. Not until A New Nightmare came out.
Okay.
which I would say also influenced Scream also.
Which came first? Scream.
Nightmare.
No, no Nightmare.
New Nightmare came first before
Did it come
Scream.
out? Okay. So
Yeah.
So thank you for that correction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's also two different movies, right? You're also talking about a movie that is actually bringing it to life for the studio. Wes Craven plays Wes Craven and so forth, right?
Doesn't he also
You know?
play himself kind of he plays a character named Freddy
In Scream,
yeah.
right? Because again, he's actually paying respect to all horror movies. You have to also pay respect. You also, what's so great about Wes Craven, what he does is that he and John Carpenter were two gods when it came to horror
Or the
genres,
NWO.
right? But he was still able to elevate him over himself. He was able to elevate John Carpenter because of the love of horror that he did consistently, right?
But,
You know?
okay, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Other than it paying respect to the other movies that came before it, all the slasher films, what's something that's new about Scream other than it paying respect to the we're going to create the rules and this and that? It's still a slasher film.
It is. No,
It's still-
absolutely.
so if,
Halloween
okay, so hold on. So if that's
is
the case,
still a slasher movie.
that's right. Okay, but if that's the case, then which is what we're debating on? Which one is better? Not which one pays respect more to what is which one's a better horror movie?
I think I talked about what makes it better and why I think it's better, right? You know, but you have to appreciate what the whole point of me talking about why it pays respect and all that stuff is because that is the foundation of the movie. If I were not to talk about that, then I'm doing a disservice to what Scream was doing. Do you gentlemen agree? Or disagree?
Absolutely. No,
So
I agree.
in
That is a
case,
big point.
Okay.
That's like talking about like Michael Myers questioning him about whether he's human or not and how evil he is. Throw that out of the window because that doesn't make any sense because they don't ever allude to that. Blah 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 blah. Right? Like no, like that's the foundation of Michael Myers, right? And Halloween. The foundation of Scream is the respect and love that it gives to previous movies.
So it doesn't
So
have
I
an
have to
identity
speak
then.
to that. It does
That's
have
what
an
I'm saying.
identity.
That's what I'm saying is that it still copies from all the other films.
All right.
Okay.
That right there. Eric thinks otherwise. That it has its own, which is that it's its own thing basically. Like it does take like the slasher to not another level, but like it revitalize. What's the word?
Revitalize.
Revitalize. It doesn't create anything new. Revitalize and creating something new is two different things. It revitalizes the whole horror slasher genre, but it didn't do anything new other than
It
like
had to, because keep in mind, slasher movies were dead.
Well, I think there was a lot of misdirection. There was a lot of
it is like a whodunit. I understand.
right.
that,
So I don't think it was the same because there was so much misdirection. There was a lot of characters you kind of had to side with through the whole film. And I think that's very different than what was going on in Halloween. And it left you feeling, I got to get to the end of this movie. I need to see what happens. I think it's Randy because he's working at the movie shop. And he's obsessed with these horror movies and understanding how all the intricacies work in horror movies. I think we all kind of knew Billy was going to be the one at the end. But you don't know that. You're just left like really trying to figure out what is going on, like who's running around in this mask. It's very different. By the way,
even when you do question it, right, and
Correct.
you do assume that it is Billy, you're still surprised at the end.
Yeah, you're still surprised at the end, and I think what you realize is I don't even think Billy killed anybody. I think he actually just was pulling the strings, and he was so psycho
Maybe, yeah.
that I think he had
See, but
Stu
as
killing everybody.
compelling as those things are, you can say the same thing about the mythology of Michael Myers, and that's what makes it so fresh. Also, when you're watching the film, you're also wondering who this thing is. Is it a he? Is it an it? Loomis calls it an it. Well, I also got to see this through to the end to see what eventually who Michael Myers is, and I think it is done much more compelling than Scream does because again, you know who the killers are in the end anyways. It's revealed to you. To me, it breaks the cardinal sin of revealing the fucking
But
slasher.
that's the
and
whole point of the movie.
I think Scream's the only one that does that.
Exactly.
It is kind of the only one that does that. By the way,
It does it, but okay. Can I make also another point? You say that it revitalizes it, but it doesn't champion it afterwards. The sequels still end up fucking dropping off anyways.
What happened to Halloween after the sequels?
No, I'm not disagreeing that Halloween does it too. But your argument is that it revitalized it, sure. But that can only really be true if the other ones were just as good, and they're not.
To be fair, I will say to that point, if we were to talk about Halloween and Scream as a whole, as a franchise, Scream is much better of a franchise than Halloween.
And I would disagree.
Oh, I don't want to go down that road.
And I don't want to go down
I
that
don't wanna
road
go
as
down that
well.
road.
All right,
but
okay.
I
New
would
Nightmare,
argue
by
that.
the way, 1994.
Versus 96.
Just real quick.
Thank you.
All right, I think we've. I don't know what we're doing here. So how do we? Who's the winner then?
Well, you
Alberto's
finished
the
with
winner.
14 points. He finished with 13.
So that's.
Alberto's the winner.
I
Hold
mean,
on,
this
hold
was
on.
such a
Look,
tough one.
I think
I know.
think what I feel like now at the end, because I've never heard really someone's perspective about Halloween ever in my life, and everything you provided to me tonight made me feel like, whoa. His arguments, it swayed me in so many different ways. So many different ways. Ways I never even thought about it from the beginning. Which is why, like, most of my conversations with Edgar were like, God damn, dude, I'm kind of having a tough one here because this was not like I don't think it was one-sided at all. I don't think they're the same movie. I don't think Scream is the same as Halloween. I just don't. I think they're very different movies. I think, not to get off track, Friday the 13th, I think that's like a carbon copy. I brought up a movie, actually. I'm like, no, dude, Terrifier is a more comparable movie because it's a guy and a clown in a mask, and he's kind of just, he's killing people, and you don't really know why.
and they kind of think they kill him, and then he keeps coming back.
Yeah.
That's kind of more of like a okay, that maybe apples to apples. I think Scream is in a different universe of. It's just different. Like I know you're kind of going back to there's the references, but it's just not the same story. There is like a motive, like we know what they're about. But that's where like you become objective thinking like, well, I don't want to know what they're about. I kind of want to know. I just want to keep Michael Myers, this terrifying guy. We know he's terrifying, and we don't know how to get rid of him. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's all.
Edgar?
I mean, yeah. What's your final thoughts?
I don't want to come out here and copy what he just said, right? But you guys, especially Josh, he's making me reconsider Halloween, Scream. You know, I just said earlier in the podcast, it was like my top 20. You know, it rose a couple of spots now.
Well, I think we're way past.
Yeah.
This thing is 3 hours and 14 minutes. The score's been tallied, Josh. Edgar said it. I won, but it doesn't feel like a sweet victory because I think we all made our very compelling arguments.
Yeah.
That being said, I think we have another voice that we can use for this debate. Josh, I have something special for you. I'm going to put this up in the microphone so everybody can hear and all you guys can watch. Josh, if you don't mind, come over here. Everyone ready?
Hello, Josh. What's your favorite scary movie? Halloween? Of course. Of course it is. It's far superior to Scream.
That's ridiculous. Hello, this is David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies. This is a message from Alberto Moreno and me saying Scream is, of course, a far superior film. No, Alberto thinks it's Halloween, but I just want you both to know. I don't know. I mean, I was in the Scream movies, and I wasn't in Halloween, so I'll have to vote for Scream. You're going to have to ask all your other friends who they vote for. Hopefully, they'll say Scream too. But I did really love Halloween. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is incredible in that. Mike Myers is one of the great... Is that Mike Myers or is that Jason? No, that's Mike Myers. Jason's in the camp. I don't know. I'm really not a horror movie buff. I mean, I love them, but I'm not an aficionado. So that being said, happy Halloween, you guys. I hope you figure this out. Do we have to really pick a winner? I mean,
Yeah, we do. We have to pick a winner.
okay. Well, I'm going to go Scream since I was in it. All right, have a great Halloween, you guys.
Wow.
That was the great David Arquette. I got him specifically for this podcast.
No shit.
Wow.
Shout out to Josh. Even though the score's been tallied.
Didn't he just give me an extra point? Actually, isn't
It's
this
been
officially
finalized
tied?
now. Josh has been finalized.
That was
Life-
amazing, by the way.
That was solid.
Dude, that's why we gather and do this.
Much
At the end
respect
of the day.
for the great David Arquette.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think that'd be a great way to end it on a very high note. Regardless of what people think, these are two great, iconic horror slashers. It was really hard to debate you, Josh, on this one. You made a lot of great points. This has been a great debate. I know you guys enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely.
It was fun to argue with you.
Yes.
You know, you brought a lot to the table. I had to prepare myself. You know, admittedly, I felt like I was the underdog a little bit because this was hard for me because I love Halloween. It is such a fabulous movie. I think. Should I share my ranking between the two?
Go ahead.
You know, like this was hard for me because, you know, if I were to rank the two, Halloween, you know, I have to put that up there, right? I have to. nostalgia, the being an indie movie.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is so freaking iconic. You know, it set the bar for slashers. But don't overlook Scream.
Yep.
You know, it brings a lot to the table for what it is. Yes, we're not comparing apples to apples. I get it. I understand. But if you don't put in your Scream in your top 5, reconsider. Think about it, guys. It is up there.
And if you guys haven't seen either of these movies, I'm sorry we spoiled it for you. But go and watch them still. They're amazing films. I hope you guys enjoyed this debate, enjoyed the podcast. We're going to do more of these. So thank you, Eric, for being on, for being a mediator. Of course,
absolutely.
Edgar, you know, you're my brother. So Josh, this
always
is
a pleasure, man.
This
always
is great.
a pleasure.
Thank you guys for listening. It's been Two Brothers and Friends.